Hello,
Nice.
everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Romper Crew.
Dragon Ball Z.
Of Dragon Ball Z.
Sure, okay.
I believe this is episode 9, I want to say. So we're still trying to go into our Super Saiyan form currently.
It's only going to require 20 more episodes.
But
It took me 9 to get a Santa hat on. How long do you think it's going to take me to go Super Saiyan?
So,
Oh boy.
welcome to the Romper Crew. Today we're doing Metroid Prime, as talked about at the end of our behemoth last video of Final Fantasy VII.
Which might have
You actually
took
watched it
6
that long?
hours.
Yeah, it was 6 hours. And yeah, so today we're going to be doing talking about the Metroid Prime 1 for the GameCube and Wii U, which is just the Wii version. So I am your host, yogamoanyo, also known as yogamoanyo, and Clutchy. You have a comment about my Twitter handle? Anyone?
Yes, of course. You know,
Everybody
the
should, I would
famous...
say everybody should follow it, but you really don't post enough on there to justify it these days.
Sure. Anyways, your thoughts on it, Em? You know?
I mean, you could always make a tweet about how his Twitter icon looks like a nutting horse. Just saying.
Well, I see it, actually.
All right. Well, Em, introduce yourself.
This was an interesting experience. I'm EmeraldMasterPixed, and hi.
Okay, Mayo, it's your turn.
Mayo Doctor, follow me on YouTube and Twitter for the one tweet a year I make.
Sorry, we're partially drunk apparently.
So yeah, we're gonna be playing the Metroid of Primes today. So yeah, let me start up a game. Sure, hard mode.
Don't be chewed on by intergalactic jellyfish.
No promises. So yeah, let's get started. So alright. First things first, you guys should know the drill by now. History with Metroid Prime. Does anybody want to go first?
Well, before that, I want to provide some clarity. Feel like for some reason, felt like I threatened someone in this call in the last episode for some reason, and got clarity. I did not, and I'm thankful for that, but everything's fine, everything's calm and collected. But you're wanting history, right?
Yes, I am. Oh, also, before I do that, I know Mayo said it was fine, and Em said it was fine, but if my voice is hoarse at all, I swear my throat feels dry.
Oh, that explains the Twitter icon right now.
Oh. Anyways, yeah, sorry. Go on, Em. You seem to wanted to start out, so you know, I'll let you go first with your history.
Prime Hunters was the first one that I seen, really.
That's the DS
Yeah,
game,
that's
for
the
people that
game,
don't know.
Yes.
In terms of the, I guess, original game, I didn't really find out about it until quite a ways later, whenever I heard about Prime Echoes, or Prime 2 Echoes, so...
Okay.
But the game never appealed to me. Still really doesn't.
Stop it, Romper. Ignore him. They heard something outside.
I mean, that's really it. And I mean, this was during a time where I absolutely hated the idea of first-person shooters, because the lack of ability to actually look around you bugged the hell out of me. It's not something that I really like. So, that's my history.
Okay, what about you, Mr. Mayo Doctor? You wanna
Okay, so as you know, I was a Sony kid growing up for the most part, so I didn't really play a lot of Nintendo games. So things like Metroid went completely under my radar. And for better or for worse, the first time I ever heard of a Metroid was during the development of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. You probably know where this is going. Hashtag should have been Metroid. My impression of the franchise has not been any better ever since.
What? Wait, the first time you heard about Metroid was when?
During the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze fiasco.
What?
Yep. Jesus, M sounds offended.
You know, it's one of these. I want to engage the JonTron. What? What the fuck? And just yell it.
And my impression of the franchise has just been increasingly worse ever since then.
Yeah.
So, probably an omen of things to come in this video.
Oh boy.
Yeah, if you think M didn't like this game, oh boy. I'm just going to say this
No,
competition.
So, my history with the game is... Jeez, I don't remember what it was. I think I was just a Metroid fan for a while, like playing Super Metroid, like the 2D Super Metroids for a very long time. And I really liked them, and obviously I wanted to know what was further in the game, like, or further in the series.
Installments.
Yeah, and this was also, I think, around the time too. I think we had a GameCube at the time. I can't really remember. This was a long time ago. And I played the game, or I wanted it. We got it for like Christmas or whatever. And I got it, played it, and I really liked it, and I loved it, and I thought it was great. And I didn't even know there was a sequel until many years later.
Good job.
Yeah, for some reason when I was a kid, I thought there was only like a Prime 1, and that was it. A very interesting experience. I know, trust me. So yeah, that's mainly my history with Prime 1. It's actually really boring.
Kind of boring compared to ours, apparently.
Yeah.
I didn't even really go over mine. I just mentioned how I first heard about the series. It's basically the same, mind you.
Mine gets a bit volatile, which I will not be sharing those kinds of details. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and I'm playing the GameCube version. I think I mentioned that already. But there will be. I will talk about specifically me, because I played this game 4 times before we started playing or started this recording. So yeah, I kind of overplayed the game when I really didn't have to. I just kind of felt like it. But anyways. So yeah, I guess that's our history with the game. We won't get into it, but me and Em do have a bit of history together about talking about this game. But yeah, that's really about it. So yeah, so let's start off with talking about a few things relating to the game. Obviously, now I wanted to start out with talking about the story.
What story?
So
it's one of those things that if you're going to catch us on the lore,
yep, exactly.
I can tell you right now, I don't know jack shit.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you straight up. I used to scan item all the time, but I never actually read what was being said on it. So I unmatched everything.
Same with me. The only thing that I really got out of it was the Prime emblems.
So essentially, basically, this is the base story. Samus Aran, who's a bounty hunter, obviously not a bounty hunter in the traditional sense, she gets a distress signal from the frigate Orpheon, which is in the gameplay where we're on now. Unbeknownst to her, it's space pirate infested, which she's avidly against. In other games, as if you play them all, you should know space pirates are the bad guys. She gets a distress signal. She sees what's going on, and during her ventures, she sees a revived Ridley as Meta Ridley. And initially, her job is to go chase. She chases out Meta Ridley onto planet Talon 4, and then as she's on the hunt for Meta Ridley, she ends up finding what's it called? She ends up slowly learning about how the world was corrupted by something called Phazon, and that the space pirates are using Phazon to create to screw around with the ecosystem and making enhanced troopers and stuff like that. So then her duty is to get rid of the corruption on the world of Talon 4. The rest of the stuff is either fluff or lore that you get this all
much even sounds like fluff.
It's not. That is the story.
By fluff, what do you mean?
The fluff is in you learn more about the world, like the inhabitants, all that sort of stuff, like with the scan
lore, history.
Yeah, lore, history. You learn all about that stuff. But the main story is first she goes for a distress signal, then she chases Meta Ridley, and then she ends up saving. Her goal ends up being to save the planet from the corruption of Phazon and stopping the space pirates from their Phazon research. That is the story of the game. I figured you two would not really know about it because, it's not one of the games that it is outright ever said at all. You have to just...
For all intents and purposes, it might as well not exist.
More or less, yeah. It's kind of it's like Dark Souls is the best modern day description.
Oh wow! No wonder I didn't like it at all.
It's like the Dark Souls story in that sort of sense, where you get a base objective, which is pretty obvious, or it's told to you, and then you go into the then you learn more from the lore and stuff.
Based on everything you get, you learn more about the world, right?
Yeah. Dark Souls, you learn it from what's it called?
Items.
From items. In this game, you get the scan visor. And this game has an absolute immense amount of things you can scan to learn about entire planets, little stuff. It's kind of absurd, but we'll talk more about that. When we're getting more
and you have to do this just 100% the game?
Selectively, which we'll talk about soon. I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
So now let's talk about the story. Sound design. I'm sorry.
What sound?
What? That doesn't make any sense.
What?
Soundtrack doesn't exist. As for sound effects, I barely ever heard anything.
There is a soundtrack.
The soundtrack is one of my all-time favorite game soundtracks.
I am so sorry.
Of all time.
Because whatever it was in this game was absolutely horrible. I hated everything in it.
I could not get into the soundtrack. I don't care for it.
You guys have the biggest hot takes in the universe.
I told you already, I hate this game. Probably more than Em does. I consider it way inferior to Ballbusters.
What?
I said that already.
Get Ballbuster vibes in one area for some reason. I can't explain it.
Because you turn into
It's
a
the
ball.
weirdest thing. No, it's not because so much that.
It's because you turned into a ball.
I am the bowl.
Probably not helping anything.
But, yeah.
But you're gonna love the impression that I got from one of the areas. I'm not gonna say what, but carry on.
So this is personally, it's always had one of my favorite soundtracks, in games. Period. It's got one of the most unique sounding soundtracks too. There's no real series that sounds like Metroid Prime in terms of the alien-ish soundtrack that it has.
Which, for me,
ambient soundtracks, so it was not gonna tell
It is ambient, so I kind of wasn't expecting Mayo to like it on that regard, because it's ambient.
Which, whenever you mention it's got the very alien feel, it's a mix of generic and not generic to me. I don't know how or why.
I can't personally see that, just because...
It's a confusing feeling, and I don't like that.
I can't... It's hard for me, because I'm trying to, see what you're saying in terms of, it being, feeling generic, but not generic at the same time.
It's because of it being alienish, it's stereotypical, but somehow it sustains avoiding that, if that makes sense.
I guess...
It's hard to explain.
There's no game series that I've ever really heard though sound like it personally, or any soundtrack period. It's kind of like a unique sound, and I think that's why I like it so much. Also, the battle themes I think are just really cool in general, like the boss themes. But
for me, they felt a tad cartoonish.
I don't even remember what they sounded like. They left zero impression to me.
Maybe it's just like the sound, like I can't think of it. I think
because,
the sound design.
But I'll
fun,
say this: I got so damn sick of hearing the Space Pirates theme.
Yeah, so do
oh my god!
I only get tired of
If
hearing
it's the song
it.
I'm thinking it was, then yeah, hard agree.
I only get kind of annoyed thinking of hearing it because the intro build-up takes way too long to kick in. That's the only reason why that song kind of gets on my nerves a little bit.
Not to mention, whenever you hear that, you know, oh great, I have to deal with this shit again.
I'm also playing on what's it called? The first version of this game, so I'm kind of abusing an exploit for people watching because you can't shoot missiles that fast.
Oh, I thought you were going to use the PC mod.
No.
That was the impression I was under too.
Which I will talk about when we talk about like some other stuff. Because just so everyone knows, I played every version of the game. I played
criticism here pertaining to the podcast. Why you didn't try a variety method is beyond me, where you could use the PC mod, Mayo could use controller if he did, and I could have, done the Wii version.
I tried to do the Wii version.
I mean, we play. Yeah, he tried. We play. It's just the whole we play how we want to sort of thing, or how.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just, that's the impression I was under, honestly. But I'm sorry, you were saying.
But I just want to quickly say, yeah, I played the GameCube version of the game. I played the Wii version, and then I played the PC mod that changes the game to be like a FPS game, like a traditional FPS game on PC.
Now, if you're interested in getting this game for the Wii, quick word of warning: it's not $60.
Get on the Wii U.
It really is not $60. That's a quick warning.
All three people that still have their Wii U's.
Yeah, for all three people that still have your Wii U's, if you want to play this game,
and hope that it actually works.
Yep. Mayo have
talking from my own experience on that one.
What do you mean by that?
I say the screenshots of it breaking and everything.
Yeah, when we like the first week after the last episode, he was talking about how it was breaking the game.
I could not even get out of the first tutorial room.
I thought this was emulation, the impression I got from it after a while, but that was...
No, that was the Wii U version.
Oh! So we're pulling Zelda collection for GameCube shenanigans now.
He was just having some issues, some technical issues.
Something went horribly wrong.
Yeah. Which sucks, but it happens. So let's talk about the graphics. Shut up, Romper. It's just
honestly, this was originally going to be the one part of the game I was actually willing to give it praise on, but then I found out how the game looks in actual hardware as opposed to emulators, and oh boy, it did not age well.
I think. Shut up, Romper.
So you're saying, Mayo, is the textures, they
look like poo.
Yeah, I was.
They look really bad. And
like a
90% of the game is way too dark. You cannot see where you're going for the life of you.
She's the thermal.
Okay, I can kind of. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that was rich. In some areas, in some ways,
but
it wasn't nearly as bad on an emulator, which is how I played it. But on original hardware, which is how it probably should be judged, yeah.
So for me, I'm like a little mixed on the graphics. So I think the graphics for the most part are pretty good for this age, like
came out for what it is.
Yeah, and I still think it holds up decently well, but there are definitely some textures that you can notice are being like stretched really hard.
And they don't change this in the Wii version.
I've seen some other GameCube games that look way better than that.
No, Mayo's not lying. It's surprising because even Samus's power suit textures are
Power suit textures look great. It's probably the best thing. It's probably one of the best models in
hell
the
are
game.
you
But you don't
talking
even
about?
What are you
see it.
smoking? Where can I find some?
Yeah, what the hell,
You
man?
barely see it.
Barely.
Her power
Barely.
suit.
Barely every time you save.
Mayo, he says barely.
Well, I guess yeah. It
We're
looks
like looking at PlayStation 1 textures on a big.
Oh, okay, yeah. Some of
Oh dear God.
some of them. Okay, I see what you mean now. Yeah, some of them
Yeah,
like.
I mean, I have nothing against PlayStation graphics. I actually love the idea of it, plus the nice crispy pixels.
Oh, sure.
Because, you know,
I guess I
go
kinda
into
like
that kind of graphic style, absolutely.
No,
I like
I see
that.
what you
I
mean
really
on
do.
certain
But-
things now. Never mind. I see what you
But-
mean on certain things now.
the format this game operates in, it just does not work.
I
Clearly.
think it's good, but I think some of the I think overall it's I would say good because some of the texture work it clearly looks like squashed and stretched and stuff. You know what I mean? Like you can
Yeah.
tell that it's clearly
Oh, yeah,
trying to
absolutely.
stretch across a wall or something.
Yeah, because, I mean, you could get a good look at one of the doors just now, and you could see what we're talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
Samus's suit is worse, though.
Samus's suit, it's just those like the black lines part. You can kind of see
It's
like
specifically on the chest for some reason.
yeah, I see what you
I see
mean.
it.
Now. Yeah, I
And
saw
that,
what you
oh
meant.
God.
Oh, you're at this part of the fun. Yeah, I have plenty to talk about power loss, but I don't really know if there's a spot for that.
We'll talk about it
It
once we
sucks.
start talking
Just like
about the
with the-
game slowly. Which
At
is
least
soon.
it helps explains where all the abilities went.
It's probably one of the dumbest explanations, but
I mean, it's consistent.
yeah,
It makes
Your back got
sense.
knocked against the wall. You lost all your abilities. Oh no!
Look.
I mean, it's kind of like anything else. You hit something just right and it breaks.
They had to, yeah, but you break everything breaks except for like the necessity, aka your gun.
At that point, it's just shitty luck.
Basic pellet shooter in the visor. That's it. Everything else breaks.
It's one of the, I wholeheartedly agree. It's one of the dumbest ways to lose all your powers, but I don't know how else they could have done it.
Just not having the first place.
Yeah, that's the only other thing they should have done. Well, they address it in
Well,
the
I
second
mean-
game, but this isn't the second game. It's the thing.
Some people are just picky assholes, let's be honest, and want an explanation for everything.
I'll just say this because if
They
we're
could have
gonna
had
play
one
the
off
second
screen
game.
since 99% of the story was often scans anyway.
I was gonna say this too because we're probably not gonna play the second
Yes,
game in the
ma'am.
Romper Crew for a while. But in the second game, you start with some equipment, but a vast majority of it actually gets stolen from you.
I can vouch for that because I played a bit of the second game.
I played about an hour of the second game against my better judgment. I wanted to see if it was any better in the first one. It wasn't. Oh my god, the stress texture. Oh my.
But yeah, Mayo, let me just grab a mirror and scan myself.
So what did one thing I do like them. One thing this was really cool. I think at the time too. And one thing I do have to give them credit for though, the whole HUD and UI is, especially for the time, I don't think anybody did something like this. Like where they try to make it look
Clearly smart.
Yeah, where they try to make it feel like you were truly like playing as Samus in her visor with the whole like that you see her arm cannon, you see what this would be on her visor. That is one of the coolest things I think about the game. And I like how, for example, too, because we're in the rain, if you look up the rain, it's not happening here. Oh, there we go. The rain droplets, because I was under like a tree, there was no rain droplets really hitting the thing. But yeah, you can see them on your visor when you shoot like a charge shot really close to your face. I don't have my charge beam, so I can't show it. Like when the light blasts in your face, you can see Samus's face for half a second. I always thought, and I still think, that was a really cool way to like say, yeah, you're actually playing as this character. It was one of the coolest ways that I feel like they could have done it. And I think at the time, I don't think anybody really did something like that. I want to say.
Combine that with wearing glasses.
Surprise! I have a lot of complaints with how it worked, but the pure idea, I'm not against.
It's immersion.
Yeah,
imagine that.
Definitely
imagine
immerses
that in the VR setting.
Yeah, that would be
I mean,
awesome.
Nintendo really working on that right now.
Which, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, really. I mean, it seems like
They
the
have to make work
augmented
on the
reality.
portable version of Switch. Good luck.
Actually, I think they'd have more of a difficult time with augmented reality stuff.
So M didn't really get to give his
Pokemon
piece
Go
though on the graphics and stuff like that. What did you think overall, M? So overall, I think they're for the most part they're okay, but there's some parts I think that shine. This is just a recap for me. I think there's some parts that shine. There's some parts that are clearly like yikes, kind of. So
shaders, the shaders. Now I understand this is a GameCube game, but the shaders they're a bit too primitive, if you ask me. But isn't this all the way back in 2001?
I believe so.
I think it's 2002.
It's either 2002 or 2000. I'm pretty sure it's 2001 though. But
and that was probably around the time whenever shaders were being experimented with. Because prior you would have to use what is called
it was 2002. Late 2002 with that. Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, because prior to that you'd have to use surfaces, which, I mean...
This game is clearly with
that. I mean... But whenever it comes to things like textures, there were some things that really needed an improvement.
Oops.
But the only thing I can think of would be Samus's suit. That is really all that needed to be improved. The model itself is great. It really is. Even Samus in the suit. I mean, you can actually tell this is a person.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Trust me, at the time, guys, that's a really good thing.
Yeah, I know that doesn't sound like much nowadays, but 2002.
And the realism, honestly, kind of like, it's almost like saying low-key to other, shooters, eat your heart out in a way, but also not. Just converting something that's typically science fiction from a company that's focusing on family-friendly stuff. It's... I don't know how to explain it right. But you understand what I'm saying, right?
I think you're trying to say the graphical fidelity for what this company is known for is interesting. Like the art style, I guess? Talking more about the art style?
They shifted that clearly. And I'm glad, well, I'll say for something like this, I'm glad they've done that, but for me, it still does not work quite right, but it's not terrible.
Okay.
By any means.
Do you think overall the graphics are good or bad? I think they're overall
yeah, for a
good,
2002 game, hell yes.
Okay. Mayo thinks they're
I would
bad?
expect to see...
Yeah, I've already made my piece. I think they're hideous. Especially for 2002. There was already games like Super Mario Sunshine
okay.
out.
Yeah, let me give a better...
That looked way better.
Let me give better detail about my opinion. The textures... You need to work on them, because holy shit, they're inconsistent. But the models, for the most part, are pretty good for the time.
So, speaking of textures, too, look at this hallway. This hallway has pretty damn good textures. But then you look at the textures of, this.
Environmental textures were not really an issue unless you're talking about foliage. And that's always an issue for some reason.
It's just one of these time periods thing. You can't really get good foliage and
No, I mean, I'm talking in general though. I mean, back then you had a better excuse, but now it's one of these.
Now you can definitely see the age.
When you look at foliage, let's say from something like the forest as an example, you want it to look real. Have fun fighting with your hardware.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because, I'm just going to say this, a GTX 530 for something like the Forest, I had to deal with the low setting for that. I'm not joking. This is also an Unreal Engine game, and Unreal Engine, for some reason, well, that's not a bad thing, but has better visuals than Unity. And I mean, that's fine, but...
What does it have to do with Metroid Prime, man?
Let's be thankful. Let's be thankful that Metroid Prime wasn't using it, because that GameCube would probably be melting.
Oh, yes, it would.
Well, sure, of course.
Probably screaming too. But I digress.
Hey, fuck
sure
you,
B.
B.
Would melt from anything that came out recently.
No, I mean screaming in the sense of pain. Okay.
I mean, I'm screaming in the sense of pain because my throat is questionable.
Don't scream then.
So okay, well let's move on to gameplay. Good gameplay.
Should not be a Metroid game. Plain simple. That is my opinion.
That's rude. And
it works.
Gonna have to
it
call
works
the police.
for what it is. But it is clearly a 3D Metroidvania, but for me, it does not work as a Metroid game.
I heavily disagree because I think this feels exactly like Super Metroid does in 3D.
I don't know how the hell you came up with that. I really don't.
There's the backtracking. Oh, dude, he's waiting to explode, so just give him a second. So there's the whole backtracking thing. You have to wait to get your the right abilities at the right time before you can get back to the so you can proceed to later parts of the game. There's the missiles, super missiles, the bare necessities. It's even got the whole what's it called? If we're talking about
bare necessities,
yeah. Well, I mean, if we're talking about what's it called, like the in terms of Metroid as a game, right?
Metroid
the series,
right?
Yeah. Like in terms of Metroid as a series, one thing that this game really nails down is it nails down the whole Metroid it nails down the whole you have to get the power ups. You have to Metroidvania. It gets that down. It gets it done, and it plays a lot like Super Metroid. This game honestly is clearly they tried to play the game really safe, and this is Super Metroid in 3D is what they tried. Because the second game is much more original. This game definitely feels a lot like it's trying to be Super Metroid to maybe appease the fans, or maybe they're trying to just play it really safe.
Well, in that case, I might have to play through the second game just to see what you're getting at.
But yeah, I think overall it works very well as a Metroid game. I think the gameplay is great. I mean, the controls on the GameCube, I will have to admit, this is going to go with the gameplay and controls kind of go together. The controls on the GameCube have always been really wonky. I'm used to them, but they really had to make do with the controller because it is really weird to control this game on the GameCube.
Quick thing to note, Nintendo had a mouse mod, well not mod, but a mouse controller on the godforsaken Super Nintendo, and it makes you question, why was it not here?
I mean, they also had even though Phantasy Star Online mostly used this, the first game, they also had a keyboard controller. It was fucking bulky as shit, but it exists.
I would rather have bulky than wonky.
The non-existent, sure.
I don't think it had a mouse though. Extension is the thing.
Honestly, this is one of those types of games in any series that needs it.
Yeah.
I think the Wii version controls are definitely the way to go. The only issue I have with the Wii controls is, for me personally, is it hurts my wrist after a while because you're pointing the controller at the TV.
Really?
It's just because pointing the controller at a TV like that just hurts my wrist after a while.
For me, it's my elbows that were, really having a hard time for me for some reason.
I mean, we all have our things. But yeah, I think the gameplay, I think it's also really smooth and fun, though, overall. I have fun running around, shooting the enemies. I have fun swapping beams, killing them. I have fun with the whole backtracking thing, like normal Metroidvania games.
Swapping beans, he says.
I said beams, gosh darn it.
Beam.
Did you?
No, you said bean. I heard bean.
I don't like beams. Mom!
You said beans!
Metroid Prime. Beans.
Metroid
beans?
But yeah, no, I love going through the game. It feels natural and fun, especially with the PC mod, but I'm not going to talk about that. Again, the GameCube controls are really finicky, but I think, yeah, if you're playing, with the, what's it called, the Wiimote, I think it feels great because you have the precise aiming and stuff like that, and it just feels overall much better.
No, it really does.
I would much say if anyone's going to first try this game, definitely play that version of the game if you can, because yeah, it's going to feel much more comfortable
Yeah, you'll be better off anyway.
But I think for how they did make do with the GameCube controls, I do think they did as best of a job as they can. But I'm not going to deny the awkwardness that it will like inflict on the vast majority of players. Like, I can't just deny that at all. Like, it's definitely something you could feel. Like, even me playing this game for the 5th time recently in a row, it still feels kind of weird on me. But yeah, so I think the gameplay's great. I think, again, it works perfect as the game it's trying to be, which is a Metroidvania. It definitely feels like the expansion of a 2D to 3D game. Like, it feels like the correct jump from Super Metroid into, what's it called? Super Metroid to 3D into Metroid Prime. So
obviously, I don't agree with that, but okay.
Did you?
I can't talk. I never played, or I played a little bit of Super Metroid, but not enough to have an opinion.
Did you even like the gameplay though at all, Em?
Well, yes. Didn't I say that already?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I actually didn't hear it, so
it's just as a Metroid game, it does not fit for me.
Okay.
I mean, I sure as hell didn't.
I mean,
That's
whenever we get into the areas, I'll explain one reason why, because it finally hit me in the last area. Well, in the one area that has a lot of radiation. I'll say that. I'll wait for that.
I think I can guess the spot you're talking about.
I probably can too.
I hated that spot too.
So,
so I'm not the only one that hated it.
Well, when we get there, we'll definitely get there, which we're going to soon. But Mayo, you haven't said a single word in the gameplay
I'm
thing.
trying to be patient.
So
you get your gushing out.
Go ahead and explode. It's your turn to shine.
Hey, hang on. It's just a jar of mayonnaise just shaking.
Yes, he is.
The lid is slowly getting, steam out of it, and all you're hearing is...
He is.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, it's Mayo's turn. His eye twitching can stop. He can go ahead and bash the game now.
I'm not crazy. You are.
Yeah, I'm just gonna yell sometimes. Say I hate basically everything this game has in terms of the gameplay. I cannot stand playing it for more than 3 minutes. It drives me nuts. I'd use save states to get through it.
Oh my god!
Just
what?
I could not tolerate it playing it for very long. I hate backtracking, which this game has a disgusting amount of.
You
I already mentioned maybe power loss, which
well, it's in Metroidvania.
I generally don't like first-person shooters. This game is
really
the epitome of games I hate.
You hate first.
Why did you make me suffer through this crap?
Yeah, he had handcuffs. He also had the most obnoxious mariachi music you could imagine. He threatened us with it.
Stop telling them my plans, Em, and what I do. So, okay, that's a save time. So, what did you hate about the gameplay the most, then, if I had to ask to make it so it's...
For a single thing, the backtracking.
Okay.
Backtracking's fine in Metroidvania for the most part, but this game, it drove me nuts.
How
much of it there was.
Yeah, actually, I can kind of agree with him on that.
Because, like, for my playtime, I think I had, like, 12 hours. I could have easily beaten the game in under 3 if it wasn't for all the backtracking crap.
I mean,
there was so much.
Yeah, I would actually agree with that, because there's a bit too much.
So it could have been resolved super easy. Just let us teleport between save points. But no!
And Mayo actually might agree with me on this. Going through across maps was annoying as hell.
Yes. And then just... See, I got so sick of those stupid lava caves because you always have to go through them over and over again, not even needing anything there. But it's the only way to get to anywhere else.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I just run through it as fast as possible because
that still wastes like 5 minutes minimum is the thing, even when you speed through it.
Sometimes, yeah.
And if you're rushing, 3 minutes tops.
For me, I can see trust me, I can see the complaints of backtracking. I understand them. So I get what you guys are coming from. But the thing is, and of course this was because I was, first of all, I know the game a lot, and second of all, I was 100%ing the game and you guys weren't. So the thing is, like, when you're 100%ing the game, when you're getting stuff along the way that's just there, and you're like, oh yeah, I have something that I couldn't get before, it can make the treks feel much, much better. For me personally, but I understand where you guys are coming from in terms of backtracking, but that's always been this series and stuff like that. But I still understand like the criticism, right? Because I know not everyone's gonna like backtracking.
Well, here's the
I'm fine
thing.
with backtracking. I just don't like it here.
Well, here's the thing that made backtracking worse. Going against the space pirates in rooms. You know, space pirate rooms. That... And with how obnoxious their pathfinding is to stay out of your aim, my god.
From what I hear, that's actually an issue with the Wii version more than anything. The GameCube version doesn't seem to have it as bad.
Because I mean,
remember looking that up.
It's one of these. It's like playing online all of a sudden.
The AI for the space pirates, they do a lot of when you shoot at them, they're gonna dodge them. So I just use my missiles.
That's fine. It's just shit.
They
got a.
I would say personally, I could maybe see that as a problem if a lot of the rooms did not lock up, because a lot of rooms do not lock up, so you can just completely ignore them.
That's fine, but you might you risk the idea you risk the chance of losing like a tank of energy in there,
or
which
more,
is unnecessary.
How far in the game you are.
And with how fast these little shits are,
depending on which part of the game you're in, what I would do too is I would just freeze them and run by.
That never seemed to work for me. Like, I don't know.
There's
one thing I'm thinking of in particular that was just absolute hell for that reason.
That works.
The stupid lab in the snow level was awful for that.
That works until at the end of the level, or towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
The freezing and then running, because you know why.
Yeah,
I mean,
gosh.
But that second to last area. Ooh, this is gonna be a field day that's had with that one.
The second to last, that's the mines, right?
That's phase on mines.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, I can have a field day on that one. Like,
I'm not talking about
the game's color coding again.
I'm not talking about Impact Crater.
Someone that's colorblind.
Oh hell! It's worse.
Yeah, that was awful.
Automatically. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I can tell they're color coded, but I couldn't always tell which ones I was supposed to be shooting with. But I know that I'm only supposed to be shooting with one, so I'm just random fire, hoping I get it.
That's
and it gets worse
awkward.
right at Impact Crater too. Or at the end of the phase on mines, I'll just say it.
So I have to ask them real quick. So I guess we can move on. I just want to know everybody's first impressions. I haven't really started out with you know what? Me starting out kind of is pointless, because the thing is, like, I've played this game so much, so my first impressions are always going to be really positive. So obviously, yeah, I like the game. Like, I love this game enough where my first impressions were, yeah, when I played this game again, it still felt as great as it did the many times that I've played it in the past. Because I've played this game probably more than any other human really should. So, yeah, but who wants to go first then with first impressions? Because remember, I told you guys to go in without a negative connotation in mind.
And I remember telling you this the other day. Like, I tried, and it lasted for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Tops, not even.
Boy.
Like, basically, by the time I was through playing the Wii U version, I was like, yeah, no, this game's still shit.
Ooh. Mm.
So what about you then, Mr. Emerald? What were your first impressions? Because that's basically his. Like he
first
tried.
Impressions you're asking about.
So like first impressions.
It's not going to so much be first impressions, but it's one of these. Now that the game's finished, I've got a different first impression. If that makes any sense.
You want to say both of those first impressions that you used to have, then I guess.
One of them was, God, this, no, it just feels way too different. And the new one is more akin to being, oh man, college student's 3D Super Metroid attempt that wound up not being as good as expected.
That's a mean first impression.
I love Super Metroid, and I will always have it classed as the best Metroid game in my book, period. I mean, honestly...
I know a lot of people who do. I was talking to a friend of mine who we love Prime 1 and 2 and 3, and all the games really, but he likes Super Metroid the most still, too. Which is fine. It's my second favorite Metroid game.
Now, if you're wanting to have
my
opinion on what this is more akin to or closely to...
How do you feel about it? How did you feel about it going in this time around? games? Because that's what you felt in
There
the past,
were
right?
times where, okay, I can see where he's coming from on the Super Metroid feel. However, I still don't agree with it, but it's more akin to being like Zero Mission in places.
That's a compliment still.
Wasn't Zero Mission just the first game? I don't
It
know.
was a complete remake that honestly
I'm
made...
playing a small amount of it on my 3DS, but
it's a really great remake to most fans.
And I even heard in one of the ruin areas, I now know where one of the themes for Zero Mission came from.
This game.
Oddly enough. I still prefer the 2D games overall, but...
Am I hearing M not be negative towards this game? Hold on. Am I asleep? Can somebody, like, slap me really quick just to be sure?
Clutchy, I'll say this.
I can start talking if you need more negativity. Don't worry.
Okay. Honestly, at this point, I'm the moderate here. That's pretty obvious.
Basically, yeah.
But
that's fair.
The game is good for what it is. It's just, it shouldn't be a Metroid game, if you ask me. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call the police on you.
Okay, Mayo, should I be just as negative as you?
I'm joking!
Guy acts
I can't be alone in this.
Gun out on him.
I can't be alone in this game!
You set us both up to this crap, okay? You deserve it.
I mean, you pissed both of us off at the end of
yeah, I'm going to remind you in case you forgot. My first words after you announced it was, I hate you.
You were collateral damage, and I'm sorry, Mayo.
Collateral damage, and I'm pretty sure I ended up more ticked off than M was.
I mean, I did say I was going to continue off from the save file, which I didn't, but I was already like 6 hours into the game before he even said or suggested the game. Which is something he doesn't know.
Don't.
But, where were we? I have no idea.
We were talking about first impressions and your first impressions after the original negative impressions you had to start the, like, when you first played the game. Or yeah.
It's not vitriolized as like what it was. It's just still I couldn't get into it. If that makes any sense.
Luckily, that was just the first
It's more of a.
So for like
I feel
hour, you felt like you couldn't get into it, is what you're saying.
When looking on Wikipedia real quick, and I know it's Wikipedia, take it with a grain of salt because that can be edited and vandalized, but I see that this game apparently had a Game of the Year award, which kind of pissed me off.
Like a long time ago, I assume?
No, whenever it, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, 2002 didn't have a lot of big hitters, so maybe. But
I mean, Metroid Prime is one of the highest rated games on Metacritic. I think it's in the top 10.
I mean, if it's high rated, that's fine. But Game of the Year, are you out of your fucking mind?
Again, it's one of the highest rated games on Metacritic.
Just holy shit, people!
I'm not joking. Like,
what is wrong with you all?
Go to Metacritic and go look at Metroid Prime.
I would agree that Ape Escape deserved that award more than Prime did. By miles. And Clutchy will not be able to say yay or nay to that. It's one of these that's going to come off more as an insult to him. Because I will say this, I used to say that Prime was more of an insult to the franchise, if you asked me.
He did.
I'll say this, conversion to 3D, it's an attempt. One that I'm willing to respect. But there's one other 3D attempt that was tried, and I want to see it tried again.
That game doesn't exist, shut up.
But by the same studio, but by the same studio that made the Prime games, so everyone can just shut up about it. Do it right.
Sakamoto wouldn't let that happen.
That's all I'm saying, okay?
Sakamoto wouldn't let it happen.
tits.
Sakamoto wouldn't let it happen!
It happened, okay? Get over yourself.
Hey,
Just like how we played Prime against our will.
I mean, we had to play Final Fantasy VII against our will.
Not really.
Signed us up to both of these games, so you know what?
We could have had to play. We could have had to play some weird massage game behind.
Yeah, but at least that would have been done in a couple hours tops.
I'm not playing a game that involves something awkward like that.
We almost did,
sir.
Maya, or Em. We almost did. Oh gosh, excuse me. Okay, so let's go more in depth about talking about the game. So the game starts off in the frigate Orphean.
What now?
Gibberish.
The frigate Orphean.
Frigid.
No, what? Frigid? No, that's like when something's
Frigid's
cold.
that place in Fire Emblem. What?
It's Frigid Orphean. Frigate. Frigid. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Whatever. Just carry on.
So you start on the Frigid Orphean, and you have what's it called? You have some abilities, missiles, specifically missiles, charge beam.
Well past the fundamentals.
Yeah,
but it's
more
the fundamentals
ball,
for Prime.
Yeah, you got the
Morph ball, bomb, charge beam, missiles. What else?
I want to say that's
it.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of weird. Well, I mean, I'm not really weird with that because it makes some sense how high jump boots gives you the spring ball.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of weird, but it's understandable.
You mean the space jump? It's the space jump in this game. The space jump gives you the double jump.
Okay, yeah.
Which, by the way, Spring Ball does not exist in the original GameCube game, just so everyone knows. You have to use the Morph Ball Bomb to get the same effect.
Ew!
Ew.
Ew!
I mean, there's a few upgrades where...
So they patched that in for the Wii version?
Well, yeah, because they didn't have another button to make yourself jump.
Oh God! Ew!
So they actually
disgusting.
kept this in too, because you have to get some upgrades with it. You can actually
because there's one energy tank that you can get that. Well, I mean,
wait, like, what upgrade are you talking about? You're talking about the double
bomb
jump, right?
jumping. First of all, I think Mayo might be able to agree with this. Bomb jumping in this game is a bitch.
Honestly, I got used to it. I
So
didn't like
damn
it,
hard.
but
I think it's easier
too
here
hard.
than it is in the 2D games. I played a lot of Super Metroid.
Of course you have. I mean,
Don't use the price
floaty,
anymore.
but I mean, I'm not knocking the floaty.
I still can barely do it in freaking Super Metroid in the other games. I just have issues with the timing every time.
You're not the only one. The timing's there, clearly. The timing's not the issue. It's learning it is the issue.
Yeah,
It's so simple to understand.
in this
but
game,
it's a bitch to do.
in this game too, it's the exact same timing as Super Metroid. Maybe it's slightly different, but for the most part, it's about the exact same.
What I really, you know what? No, that doesn't relate to this.
So, obviously Mayo hated the Frigate Orphean. Is there anything good you can add to it, Mayo? Or anything,
No.
or anything particularly hateful?
Is this that one station like from Super Metroid where they're pretty much doing a carbon copy of it?
I think that's what they were kind of going for, because a lot of this game is a lot of Super Metroid.
Which is
callbacks and
why
stuff.
I gave it that impressions example that I did.
It's kind of like just a tutorial area, yeah, where you get to learn about.
Yeah, it
all
is a
your
tutorial
stuff.
area.
Yeah.
like, the only thing I could really hold against it is the glitch I had on the Wii U version. That's not really fair.
What was the glitch you had?
You know the glitch
Which
where it was crashing and then it was forcefully making me run to the right and.
I wanted you to mention it to everyone. I don't think you mentioned it on camera.
It was that was the reason I stopped playing the Wii U version, because I was not going to play through the entire game being forced to run to the right. Which, remember,
Why?
Wii version. So motion control
Why?
system combat it. Ugh.
I
sounds like
dealing
you're-
with that crap.
It sounds like either the hardware on your machine was really screwed with, or that copy of the game is broke to hell.
It's digital.
It's digital, so I don't know how the heck it could be broke to hell.
I mean, it still works for other games. It's just Metroid that's broken.
Aha.
Like I can still, Yogi still thinks I'm crazy when I say this. I can still get Sonic and Secret Rings to work fine, but for some reason this game won't work.
I mean,
I think that's
not
crazy.
all that good.
I think that's crazy just because Sonic and Secret Rings, period, this doesn't work.
It's not that good, really. It's not worth. It was not. If it was $60, and you know it was not worth it.
Sonic 06 is better.
Honestly, I'm willing to agree with that on this.
Mayo would agree with me on that.
Absolutely.
I mean, Secret Rings, that's a mobile game, pretty much.
You know, he's
That is
not
right.
wrong.
It plays exactly like what, which I have nothing against. It's just,
Oh, I know. It
where's
plays
the
like Auto Runner.
It
complexity?
plays like an auto runner, except it's using like motion controls from the Wii, except it doesn't work.
Yeah, and whenever I was back in high school, whenever playing this one dumbass student that I had as a friend, I mean, honestly, he was a bad influence and just, ugh. He wasn't too awful damn bright, I'll say that.
Was it me?
No, but no, you're a better influence by miles than he was.
Oh my.
Yeah.
He's-
Oof.
I can tell you right now that I'm thinking about that and really thinking hard, I'm getting some incest vibes from the guy.
Oof.
No, I don't like that. I really don't. But I digress about that. It's one of these, here he was trying to do any kind of jumping in the game by trying to not just jump, but
He jumped
also
in real
lunge
life.
immediately. Lunged immediately.
He jumped in real
And-
life and it tried to make him
No.
jump in the game.
You know?
That'd be really funny. He jumped in real life.
Honestly, it would not surprise me if he was
Ow.
2 cents short of $1 on that. It really wouldn't surprise me, but he was literally lunging with the Wii remote immediately after to do the lunge in the game. And his excuse was, it makes it harder. Fuck you. Fuck you. That is literally one of Clutchy's excuses, but hit to a hyperbole so damn stupid it's not even funny.
It's really funny.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I think that's hilarious.
Dark Souls is hard, okay, bitch?
I don't think you were that
But
old.
it's
or the game
fairly
wasn't
hard.
even out. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
sorry.
Metroid.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Aw.
So actually, I do want.
Man, he's got his hand cupped to the couch. He can't do
you know,
anything.
he's
Don't
in the
let me out!
basement. So I actually want to talk about the whole scanning system.
I thought you were about to say
And I wanted to
scanning.
mention this to you too, because you asked about the 100% thing. So to 100% the game, you don't have to scan everything. You have to scan. If I can get it, let me see if I can find something new.
What, everything that's red?
Everything that's red and like every monster and stuff like that. Like if
Okay, you can soft lock yourself then.
well, no, more like you. Well, yeah, you cannot.
No, soft lock yourself out of 100%.
Yes,
In the original
there's
GameCube version, you
missable.
can
Oh
soft
my-
lock yourself out of the main completion. I almost
Retro,
screwed
I'm
myself
not
on that. If
gonna
I
lie.
hadn't been save stating, I would have.
Retro, I'm not gonna lie, that is very stupid. That is genuinely stupid.
I think it's fine because you gain nothing from scanning everything. If you gain something, then yes,
If
I
you
would say
see-
that's kind of stupid.
Here's the thing. The impression that I'm getting from you by this explanation is you have to scan bosses too.
Yes.
And when they're done when
Yes.
you kill them.
And this
And
is
if
in
you
every
didn't
single
scan
game,
them-
including
If you
3.
didn't scan them, that doesn't count.
Yes, and this is in every single game, including 3.
That's not smart. That really isn't.
Again, if you gain some sort of advantage, I would be much more peeved, but given that you don't, it doesn't bug me nearly as much.
Because, I mean, when you think about it, a soft lock out of 100%.
In the trilogy
That's-
version, I
that's awful.
think all you get is like concept art and stuff like that.
You get emblems that you actually spent The funny thing, these emblems are stingier than the Sonic games emblems so far. And I mean, that's fine. It's just...
From what I remember, weren't there some that were locked to online, so it's straight impossible to 100% it now?
I don't know that, actually. There's no online features in the trilogy, so I don't know what it would be that requires online.
Yeah, on the second and third game, isn't there online?
No. There might have been.
There's a prompt for it when you load up the trilogy.
I'm just gonna say this right now, Mayo. If there was actual online play for the third game, it would be fucking hell. Because if Brawl was bad with button lag, imagine what corruption would have been.
There were multiplayer things in the game in 2 and 3, especially 2, but that was local. I don't know about online.
I mean, even the trilogy has the multiplayer, but you'll have to have 2 remotes, I think, or 2 Wii remotes and 2 nunchucks.
Yeah, the first game doesn't have it though.
You mean the multiplayer?
Yeah.
First game, there's no multiplayer in the first game.
No, obviously, but
yeah, we're talking about the
second game
right now.
Yeah, I'm just mentioning because you know about Metroid Prime 1.
I mean, what are the chances we're going to be talking about 2 and 3 after this?
Very rare.
Please no.
Unless I choose.
Please no.
Unless I decree.
Oh boy.
So the thing is, though...
Better get that revenge.
If you really do that, I really will get that revenge game.
Oh, gosh.
I can
be thankful.
9 games that have high Metacritics that you would hate. Don't worry.
Here's the thing. I feel that Clutchy made a, immediate no ROM hacks, because I would have recommended one that would have made all 3 of us miserable.
That's not revenge on me, then. That's revenge on everyone.
No, I think Mayo might actually be able, at that point, to go with, just agree with me on the... That you deserved it.
You sent me a while ago when you were talking.
Yeah, you even got a picture of it, I believe.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think that one actually looked that hard.
Mayo, I'm not gonna lie. There's one part of it that is hell and a half.
I don't doubt it.
It is so bad. But
maybe I'm just spoiled by Super Mario Maker and seeing how crazy those can get.
Hey, it's worse. I mean, it's worse. Anyway, you're at the potted shrub.
This is Flagra. He's also.
That sounds so filthy. It's
Flagra for 1, and for 2, his music is actually glitched in this version of the game that I'm playing currently. It loops the first 50 seconds, and it does not loop the entire song.
Good job.
Really?
Yes.
I wouldn't even notice.
So it's literally just like the beginning section looping over and over again. It's actually really funny. But so about the scanning thing though, I actually do really like the whole scanning system in this game though. Like as a whole, it tells you it's really cool with a few things. Like first of all, it tells you about like certain things that you can backtrack to when you're 100% of the game. Like for example, it tells you about this. What's it called? This thing is filled with Bendesium, for example, and when something has Bendesium, that means you can power bomb it.
Which they don't.
Which you're not going to know until you get it.
Yeah, they don't tell you jack shit of what could be used on it.
It's fine if you're playing the game again, but for a first-time player, you're going to have no idea. You've got to fly blind.
And the worst part, the genuinely worst part, is the word. The literal word of the mineral that or material that you can use the item on is literally highlighted.
Yes, they always highlight the word.
And here's the thing about that. That is useless if you have no idea what that is and what... The information is useless until you understand.
And you don't get the power bomb till in the mines, so way late in the game.
But
Which,
thing is,
ooh,
but
the
thing is,
filled day
like,
with that.
I just like the idea though, personally. Like I like that it like you could scan things and then they tell you, yeah, this has this mineral in it, this has this mineral in it, this is this mineral in it. So that way I can write down, and it's always highlighted. So that way I'm always like, okay, so this is this, this is this, this is this, and then of course, yeah, I can see the first time around if you don't know what is what. Yeah, I can see the frustrations of that. But once you know it the first time through, you'll know exactly like, oh yeah, this was Bendesium, so that means I can only powerbomb this. Let me go do that.
I'm definitely gonna
Not
play this
terrible.
game again. I'm gonna suffer through it a second time. Why not?
Well, I'm just saying in like a general sense. Like, it
I
tells
think Mayo could agree with me on this. It's not the idea that's the issue, it's the lack of information that you're not given. That's the issue. You're not given any kind of information about this or that. Even whenever you have the item, I don't recall it being brought up.
There should be something to tell you what Bendesium is, or what the power bomb is, or anything like that. Like maybe just show you what powers you get in the game.
Here's an idea. Why don't you also? And I mean, with Mayo, it's not going to work quite as well because he's colorblind. But why not take the time to go and have, door-based colors, like the traditional sense. Yeah, but with actual debris and things that you can destroy and open up, such as, how the pile of debris is in front of the hallway to go to the Phazon mines.
Yeah. Well,
if they were to have that in the scanner as a yellow color, that would have helped so much.
I think...
That really would have.
I think, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure... So they actually update the scanner in later games. So in this game, only things in your peripheral vision can be viewed, and they have a square that's red or orange, like this. So, like, I'll show, for example, for the people that are watching. So, in this peripheral view, this little rectangle, you can see that there's a red on this the Varia suit. That's the Varia suit, even though it's a Screw Tech icon. But when you move your visor out of it, you can't see that red thing. So, in later games, they actually changed this. So, you could see all the environment around you. You can only scan in that little area still, but you can scan... But everything is, like... Either, like, the entire object is highlighted as completely red or completely orange. And I think they do that in later games. They fix that, so in later games, things that you can blow up like that will be highlighted, so you know, okay, I can do something with that later on, sort of thing. Because in this game, yeah, it only has... Usually it's a red marker that's... And then when you scan it, it'll say, this has Bendesium or chloride or whatever, whatever it might be for that given moment.
Or, alternatively, if you've already scanned it, or even before that, what you could have done is also have it labeled of what that object that you scanned is based out of. That could have worked too.
One thing they could have done is if you've scanned it before and after you got the upgrade that lets you, get rid of it, they could have made it re-scannable, because then it could have been like, oh yeah, I could get that. I could do something.
Yeah, that would have helped.
That could work.
That really would have helped. I mean, Clutch, you've got to... Honestly, you have got to be with us on that, because the lack of knowing is something that's not good.
Yeah, really. Like,
I'll say
I know
this.
it's not going to apply to somebody that's played the game 5 times, but to newcomers, it's just awful.
Well,
yeah, and whenever you go from one of the
Bendesium
artifacts... The worst part, and I think even Mayo knows about this, of course you'd have to because you need all 12 artifacts, but you were in a room that already had one. The problem is you can't get it right now.
Yep, and
yeah, funny thing.
How I almost got soft locked out of completing the game. It's
how the hell?
Artifacts. There's a glitch in the GameCube version where if you leave the room with one, you can't get it. You're locked out of the room.
That's true. In the original GameCube release, there is an artifact that if you leave the room where the artifact is sitting,
I would have been locked out of it if I didn't have save states. And frankly, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have played the game. I wouldn't have bothered.
But the thing is that thing, even though yes, that glitch shouldn't be there, the thing is the one that if you do miss. It is in one that's kind of like you have to actually go out of your way to miss it, because after you kill a mini boss. in the phase online. It's that one, the one where you kill
I
the mini
I didn't know it was a mini boss. Is the thing? It wasn't that strong.
Either way, it does drop the what's it called? It drops the key right after the artifact right afterwards. Sorry, the key is the second.
Thing is too, the artifacts, they're a tad cryptic of where they're at. Don't care for that.
Yes and no, I would say. Because
I'll say this. You know how in Magmore Caverns there's one there?
Yeah.
The column, the one that you can destroy with the super missile.
I think another one you're talking about.
You
How
can destroy
the fuck
it.
are you supposed to know
You
that?
can destroy it with 2 missiles. It's a glitch that they never kind of addressed and they never fixed. But yes, you're supposed to have super missiles.
No,
But either way,
okay.
There's one in the Pandora Drifts or whatever it's called.
the Fandrana, the only one that I will never defend is the one in Fandrana Drifts where you have to powerbomb a wall that you cannot X-ray visor or thermovisor. There's absolutely nothing that tells you. I cannot defend that.
I tried that one, and it still took me like 20 minutes to find.
The only reason why I know about it is I was actually using a YouTube video to guide me to these artifacts. I was not.
By the time I was through the mines, I was so done with this game's crap.
Well, I had to go back into the mines just to get the artifacts there.
Oh, yeah, I
But,
did.
that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's 2 there. One of them you see on the way there. You just have to backtrack after you kill a Mega Pirate, and the other one is near the beginning. Luckily, they're in 2 relatively backtrackless parts. But speaking of artifacts, I do want to talk real quickly about artifacts. Easily the absolute lowest point in the game, bar none.
Which are useless, but are key to finishing the game.
Yeah, see, this is actually probably one of the few cases where I feel like if you know where they're all at, it's not nearly as bad, but even then, it still does drag down the game.
You're not even hinted where the location are.
Yeah, you are.
Usually, not really. Like, usually in the game, after you're wandering around for a while, you get a prompt on your device. Okay, go here. They don't do that.
Yeah, so
they just prompt you back over to where you're supposed to drop off the
artifacts.
So
yeah,
you're literally told that.
That's the hint system in the game for everyone. It's off for me, but yeah, there's a hint system in the game that you can turn on and off, and it tells you there's something going on here, and you're supposed to find. You're supposed to.
That system was extremely laggy, but
there's not even this. Like some sort of strange anomaly or something like that is happening at this location. There's nothing like that comes up for where the artifacts are. So you can hunt the room down and see if there's anything.
For you guys, for everyone who doesn't know if you didn't figure out what the hint is, it's what you have to use the scan visor clearly to scan. You scan all the keys in the artifact temple, right? Where it's you scan all the little pylons that are there, right?
Okay.
And then when you look at it in your logbook about where the artifact location is, there is a word highlighted. That is the name of the room you have to go to. So you have to read.
That's so helpful.
So you have to read the hints, go to the room that it tells you it's in, and then you have to deduce what it you have to deduce that. I think I think it's a low point because it is
way too
I don't think they're I don't think they're too cryptic outside of like a very select few, and the one in Fandrana Drifts is not acceptable because that one there's absolutely nothing tells you. Because the thing is, you can X-ray visor the one in what's it called?
Are you talking about the one where you actually have to knock an entire tower down?
Yes,
that one is.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was questionable.
That one is really. It's bizarrely specific because you can only scan it at a certain angle, and that's stupid. I wish that they gave you another opportunity to. That one's also stupid. I agree too, because they should.
Well, I mean, you're talking about more than Yogi, because that's what I thought you was talking about.
That is something I expect to see in Lama Lana.
No,
it's that cryptic.
The one that I'm talking about, and I think this one is way worse. It's Fandrana Drifts. There's a wall in the very back side of the section, in the depths technically. It's a rock wall that you have to power bomb.
Yeah,
and there's
bullshit,
absolutely
okay?
nothing indicating that anything's
that was
behind.
fine. I had no trouble with that one.
I think that one's stupid
Really?
because there's nothing
two of the easier
that
ones.
there's nothing that indicates that you're supposed to see. The thing is, like I said, for all the other ones, you could X-ray visor, you could thermal visor, and then it'll show, oh yeah, there's something behind this wall, right? For some reason, that is the only one. X-ray visor, thermal visor, doesn't matter. It just does not say there's anything behind that wall. So you have to guess.
You just so happen to get the X-ray visor out. Oh.
So
I gotta vomit.
So that is the only, that is like those two Infinity Round of Drifts are probably the only two that I think are kind of unacceptable in terms of like crypticness. Because yeah, like there should be another way that they should tell. Because most of the other ones, again, you can either X-ray visor, thermal visor them, or they'll just appear after a boss, or you'll see it in the distance or whatever, right?
And alternatively, here's an idea for a hint: a crack in the wall. That would have helped.
Yeah, that would have been really nice.
Or a crack in the
I mean,
pillar.
Nobody asking for too much.
Because at that point, here's the thing: Legend of Zelda, the original, did similar shit like this, only it was a bit worse.
I mean, to be fair, with Zelda at least it was an NES game.
Yeah, and cryptic
Cryptic
nature was a part of the. Honestly, was a part of the vibe that the NES had, because you never knew what you were going to find. The problem here, though, is as if it was borrowing some elements from the original Metroid here, and was using it in such a way
this was
that
also
was
really fun, by the way.
complete dog shit. I mean, the original Metroid, it's fun, but that doesn't mean it's not frustrating. It gets hard, but the crypticness that's a part of that game. But in Prime, I would expect a lot better.
I still don't think they're cryptic outside of those two, because again,
well, it never. To be fair, it never occurred to me to look through the logbook to look at.
Yeah, that's way too vague.
It really is.
Well, you guys were also just kind of flipping through everything and not reading a single thing, because when they mark it as red. They like mark those things. There's a red thing.
It should have been blue or green or something. It should have been very out of the ordinary, and it should have.
It is. The text is out of the ordinary.
I'm talking about the scan marker. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the text.
Oh no, the text has like a red thing.
Should have been a different color, yes. But
like,
and if it is, I guess we missed it.
For example, like I'm scanning this. See where it says transport to Magmore Caverns North active. You see how Magmore Caverns North active is red. When you're getting the hints to the keys, it says like something added to the research, like key added to the research, and research is in bright red, which always means it's important.
That's what I pointed out whenever it came to destructible surfaces and stuff.
So I have to be sorry. I'm sorry on this one. I'm gonna have to chalk that one up to human error on you guys' part, because it is in bright red for importance that something was added to the research.
Whenever I'm talking text, I'm talking about the entire dialogue box.
Yeah, it gives
for
you
something
a hint.
like entire, not just a word, not just a word.
But the entire dialogue box is important. They highlight the room that you're supposed to go into.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. They highlight the name of the room. When I can,
that's still way too
but
vague.
when you look on the map, you're not given any kind of indication.
You have to go into the map and look at the name of the rooms. I'm chalking this one up to human error.
Good luck doing that when, again, this is an emulator issue, so I'm not holding you too hard against the game, but by the time you get to the end game, the frame rate of the map screen is like 3 frames a second.
Yeah,
mind you, Mayo and I are not being illiterate here.
I'm not saying, like, for example, look at, see the name of this, of this, it says Burning Trail.
Yes, we understand that. We
can read.
Yeah, it says Burning Trail, which means they would highlight in the hint, it would say trail. So that means, okay, you have to go to the burn. Yes, it's kind of ridiculous that it's like that, but once you kind of pinpoint it down, I don't think it's too hard, because I didn't have issues with it. I'm being like
putting it down
through. I didn't have
issues. That's way too vague.
With it. When I can show it off, I will, because I want to show it off, but I have to get the space jump, which is going to be a little bit.
Wait, I thought you said the space jump was in
Shit, he's already getting it.
No, it is. It's just different. It's not the same thing. In this, oh god, the space jump in the original game lets you jump infinitely, essentially, as long as you keep in rhythm. The space.
Yeah, and I'm kind of disappointed that there was no screw attack in this game.
There's in the second game.
Well, I mean, that was spoilers, but okay.
I mean, I didn't know if you were gonna play it.
I mean, I'm never gonna play it.
Yeah, I knew Mayo wasn't. I didn't know if you were going to.
It's one of these. I'm anticipating something with you. You can already tell. And I might be wrong, but Mayo also knows exactly where I'm coming from. I'm anticipating you. I'm trying to read you right now.
I wouldn't read me. But one thing I do want to say though about the whole destructible wall, because this is the room with the pillar, just so everyone knows what the key artifact is. So you can't see it right now because I don't have the X-ray visor. If you have the X-ray visor out, this is going to be hollow, and you will see the key in there. This pillar right here will be hollow, and you can see the key in there. You guys just weren't using your visors enough.
Except in the
admit to not
moment.
using X-ray visor because I could never see anything with that crap
Also,
on.
see, yes.
Yeah, I can understand.
You're
that.
supposed to have a super missile, but again, they never fixed this out. I can't grab it right now. I don't have the double jump, but.
And I don't know why that artifact seems familiar for some reason, because it seems like you told me about it before.
I might have mentioned how they're the worst part of the game to you at some point. Because they are.
Because, honestly, the artifacts, that would have been fine if they were optional, for, let's say, an additional item or something like that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that'd be...
But no, they decide to make it part of the main campaign.
Yeah, and it's stupid. And they do it for all 3 games, except the 3rd game, they were nice enough in making it so you can actually collect basically all of them along the path. Like, very easily. There's some you can backtrack to, but you don't need to. You don't need all of them in the game, too.
Hell, Retro Studios. Give me a break!
And in the second game, I would argue that they're worse.
Yeah, plus...
Well, if there was any chance I was playing the same game before, now it's gone.
Well, if I've got this right, Mayo, second game is fucking hard.
Yeah, second game is hard.
As in...
They nerfed the...
You'll be ready to rip your leg off and throw it out the window.
The trilogy version, they nerfed it. The game.
Good! I don't want to be dealing with something that I actually want to start screaming at my TV until it starts cracking.
Yeah, the original GameCube version of Metroid Prime 2 is considerably hard.
And hard is fine. That's not the issue. It's just if something is so damn hard, it's not even funny.
And speaking of a bit of crypticness, if you guys want to see some more crypticness, I'll show you something right now. I don't know if I can make this actually. Can I? Oh no. You see what I'm shooting right here? It's an invisible platform.
Not really, the resolution's too low for me.
There's an invisible
platform.
An
invisible platform.
Well, you need the X-ray visor, but luckily they rarely do this. There are some points in this game where you kind of just need to assume that there's invisible platform. Like, some of them, it's kind of obvious because you can't make it up to a certain path, like, without... Like, suddenly there's stuff missing, right? So you're like, okay, yeah, well, maybe I need to X-ray visor here.
It's one of these, it can be obvious, but otherwise, it's not.
This
because
one,
it's one of these, I'm going to assume that there's another path somewhere.
Yeah, this one right here, though, it's for a missile. It's for a missile upgrade. This one right here, there is no indication on why I would need to X-ray visor this room, unless I just feel like X-ray visoring every single room, which you could chalk up to human error to an extent, but this room, there's nothing that visually indicates something there, so I'm not going to give a pass on something like that. But luckily, that is very uncommon in this game. I think it's only like maybe 3 upgrades tops where something like that will happen. But
I'm just thankful the first game didn't have no X-ray visor.
So I'm actually curious, though, in general, what did you guys think about the, like... Just, I guess, the world. Like, how did you think of the areas? Let's start one by one. So let's start with the overworld, Talon overworld. How did you guys, like, feel about that? I always love Talon overworld. I think it's awesome.
It feels too boring, level design-wise. It's too simple.
It's got some sick music, though.
What music?
There is music, to be fair.
It's got
it's just not music that stands out to me at all.
It's got one of the best themes in the game, dude.
Here's
it's awesome.
The weird thing, Mayo. There is more music in the Prime games that is actually not even ambient, but in the 2D games, there's more ambience.
I wouldn't know.
That's not an exaggeration.
I would say they both are very equal. Phase on Minds is like an ambient.
No,
like,
that's
wet dream.
very obvious. But thing is, I mean, when we get to Phase on Minds, I'll be having my field day with that.
I think most of us will, because first of all, it's very difficult, and second of all, it's the longest area in the game.
Yes.
And mandatory backtracking. Don't forget that one.
Yeah, that part does kind of suck.
My opinion on Talon. I'm gonna just go ahead and do a quick clump up of the entire world. It does not feel atmospherically vast as the 2D games tended to do. I finally figured out that. That's one of the reasons I do not like Prime games.
I disagree. Because I still think...
agree with that. I can't compare it to 2D games
because
again, but I was saying for like a film was really simple.
I just think this game feels like Super Metroid. I'll be honest.
The idea of it being a vast open world does not, for me, is not what it feels like. It's not congested, it's not claustrophobic, but it is very...
It feels claustrophobic to me. You're alone.
It's well, obviously you're alone for the most part, but
you're alone outside.
Not
of space.
cramped. To me, it does not feel cramped, claustrophobic, or anything like that. It feels not vast like the 2D games did. Is what I'm getting at. That's the best excuse I can give. That's the best explanation I can.
I respect it, but I don't feel the same personally. I respect your opinion. Okay. I just don't feel the same. I think it feels enough to like. It feels like it can stand up on its own 2 feet.
Because honestly,
it feels like Super Metroid to me.
If Prime were to ever take place on Zebes again, if that's how you say it,
Zebes, I think is how you pronounce it.
Well, you know.
Yeah. Metroid 1 planet.
If it were to take place on that, something tells me it would be a lot more vast, and for all I know, it could be the planet specifically. But Talon, whenever talking about Talon specifically, I didn't like it, but it's different.
You know what? I respect your opinion, but you're wrong. No, I'm joking.
But I also am, quite fascinated by these mushrooms that have some sort of really weird beer goatee going on.
That's so much to describe it.
That explode when you touch them for some reason.
Dude, alien life.
I don't remember if this was the overworld or if this was the ruins. What was the one that had the underwater segment?
Which underwater segments?
That would be Talon.
I'm pretty sure.
That one sucks.
Yeah, it's Talon. It's the crash.
That was one of the worst spots for the game.
It's Crash Frigate Orphean.
Its underwater section. Listen, I'll say this. Retro, if you're wanting to take inspiration from Super Metroid, I'm not going to knock that, because I'll say this. I loved Axiom Verge, and I can see a lot of Super Metroid inspiration from that. I can see it here, too. It's just, it does not feel right the way it was translated here, if that makes sense.
Kind of lost.
It's awkward for me. I loved Meridia. I really did in Super Metroid.
You are in a minority there, my good friend.
It is
Most people do not like Meridia.
I love the atmosphere. I really do.
It's got a good atmosphere, but most people do not like Meridia.
I can understand it, and I can understand the frustration because of the quicksand. God help us if they done that with Prime.
Sorry, Mayo. We're talking about Super Metroid here.
No, Mayo would have an even bigger field day if he had to deal with
any
form of quicksand
to deal with.
Because it's one of these. It's so painful to tolerate.
I mean, I like Meridia. I mean, I like the. I wouldn't say. Well, I love the music in the Underwater Frigate because it's really like somber and kind of depressing almost. Because that's the crashed.
Well, I mean,
station
Meridia
that
was that way too.
Yeah. I do really like it though, and plus it's really simple. All you have to do is you just have to have the thermal visor. And you have to turn on some switches. That's about it.
Quick, just opinion-based question about Meridia. Did it to you at any point, Clutchy, feel like a before time Torian?
Kind of.
Because
even that's
that was the impression I got.
Even though
because of the mock droids in there.
Mock droids.
Yeah, they're literally called mock droids because it's weird, but hey, it's acceptable. Sure.
Sometimes the weirdest things are the greatest things in life.
At least it wasn't Omega Metroids. Oh boy.
Dude, Omega Pirate. That's gonna be one of my favorite things to talk about. I love that boss.
Anyway, Talon's underwater section. Okay, this is one of those rare instances where I did not like the water-based area, even though I had the gravity suit at the time. It's just, if you fall down into that pit, if you fall down into that hole and you don't have the gravity suit...
Oh yeah, that's like another 5 minutes to climb back up without the suit.
Yeah, exactly.
And even with the suit, I still feel like it's a minute.
Why the heck did you guys need to climb back up that main chamber at all?
Because it's so easy to fall off. How did you not?
You need the gravity suit.
But why do you wait? Why did you fall? Wait, why did you need to climb back up it though?
Because it's so easy to fall off.
No. What was the reason behind needing to climb back up? Like, why did you
get the gravity suit? To get the gravity suit for me.
The gravity suit.
The gravity suit somewhere else.
Oh, did you not have the gravity suit and jump in?
When I done it, I didn't have it.
Okay, I can understand that. I've done that when I first played the game. I did the exact same thing, and it was
and it's
not
one
fun.
Of these. I was actually
wasn't the gravity suits in Vendura Drifts anyway?
It is. It's in the depths.
Yeah.
You have to get the ice beam, then you get the.
I knew it was in a water-based area. It's just I didn't know where.
Yeah, it's not there. The Frigate Orpheum's technically a shortcut, and it takes you to the. I think it takes you to Phazon Mines.
Oh boy.
So, but no, okay, that I understand, but I don't know what Mayo did that he had to go back. Were you backtracking through the frigate backwards?
I mean, I did it that one time, but no, I was just having trouble getting through it, period.
Because it is, I can understand it being a little annoying because it is, I seriously can't open this with a missile. I guess, okay.
No, if you're talking about the door that's, blocked off, there's just something else.
Because don't get me started on these stupid doors.
It took me a few minutes. It literally took me a few minutes to figure that out. Because it's one of these. I actually had to pull a YouTube video up just to figure it out.
I didn't have it that bad.
Yeah.
There were some doors that were just awful. I could not figure out what I had to do.
Maybe it's just me with games lately, but I'm having to pull up guides on some occasion on learning how to do something properly.
Oh, I don't blame you at all. If it's something where you have to, if it's getting a guide or spending an hour trying to figure out something super mundane, just getting irrationally angry over it, then by all means, get a guide.
I think this game explains things well if you read the logs on certain things. It's things that are like in your face about what you're trying to open. There's usually something that hints you or straight up tells you about it.
Well, I mean, that grate in that area, right?
Which
that you have to burst open, right?
Which grate?
That has the, it's a really weird looking grate. The second you go in, what's the name of this place?
Vendura Drifts.
Yeah.
You mean, are you talking about the icicles that I broke open?
No.
Oh, the grate.
The
grate. Yeah. To unlock the door.
Yeah, that's not made too obvious.
You can scan it, and it says you. It's
I know.
It's weak to concussive blows.
It's one of these. Scanning is not made as something you should, do per se.
Oh, it is 100% is made as something that is very.
No,
important.
I mean obviously it's made to be used. What I'm
you
saying
have to
is
scan
it's not
open
made
doors
obvious.
and stuff.
It's not made obvious in a lot of places. That's my issue.
Yeah, I have the same problem. It's not as obvious as it should have been.
Again, I feel like I'm cheating saying this, but I feel like it's like chalking up to human error because if something
it's not, man.
Because if something is clearly not
when
working,
there's this many problems, it's not human
then
error.
you have multiple visors to do things. Is the thing though? That's why
not an issue though.
That's why I'm like it feels kind of like human error to me because you have so many visors. Just check your other visors. If something isn't working, check your other visors.
And it usually doesn't work.
Because like for doors, it's usually like you have to scan. What's it called? Sometimes you have to scan a trigger. Sometimes you have to what's it called? Sometimes you have to scan you scan something. It says, like I said, it'll say like concussive blows will. What's it called? This thing is weak to concussive blows, this thing is weak to bendezium, and once you learn the first time what something is weak to, every time you scan it, you'll know what it's going to be weak to. So, it tells you, it's just, I think you guys just didn't use your scan visor enough.
I used my scan visor, I even read some of the logs for enemies and stuff, it's just, it wasn't clear enough.
If the scanning was made obvious in some way, this wouldn't have been an issue. Now, I'll say this: whenever I came to finding the lore stuff, that became obvious by experimenting myself, which is
sorry, game. Quiet.
My dog was in bed earlier.
I'm sorry, the mailman came.
Technical difficulties. Metroid was knocking at the door.
Yeah,
Metroid was asking for batteries. Just imagine a man in a Metroid outfit, or just a man with a Metroid for a head, just knocking at your door.
That would scare me.
And he's just asking, "My Bruda, do you have batteries?"
I'm sorry that happened. So continue with what you were saying about. I think we were talking about like the scan visors and stuff. The visors.
I wish it was made more obvious. That's really it. Not one of these. Hey, stupid! You should use your visor. It's not something like that. It's
I guess I can understand it from that front, but I feel like in a game where you're supposed to use everything to your arsenal, you should use everything to your arsenal.
I did, and it didn't work. That's my problem. I still couldn't figure crap out.
I wish you could give an example so that I would know, because maybe there's one that's kind of weird that I'm missing offhand.
In the traditional context of the Metroid games, you are not given a scanner to work with. That is going to be a problem for you.
Oh yeah, so in those games, they have different ways to do it. Like, say a wall might be a different texture, or might not be the same pattern.
But with Mayo, it's going to be a bit worse because he's not familiar with that format.
Yeah, so in this game, they replace that sort of stuff with, you have multiple visors. Use those to your advantage, and then do it. I will admit that Metroid games have never been very beginner-friendly, so that could have something to do with it.
This one sure as hell ain't.
I think this one's more beginner-friendly than Super.
Hours. It took me about 6 hours just to get back where I was before.
I think it's personally more friendly than Super. And definitely 1. 2 is linear, so that one's kind of straightforward.
It's not that it has to be more linear.
It doesn't have to be. I think this format could have worked with an open world game, but
yes, that would have been great too.
Maybe Metroid Prime 4 will be open world. Ooh.
Oh, we know that's probably what they'll go for.
Dude, that'd be awesome. You guys are getting me excited for Metroid Prime 4. What do you guys think of Fendrena? No, not Fendrena. Let's talk about Chozo Ruins.
Yeah, we're still in town overworld, were we? We just got super sidetracked.
I know. I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff, to be fair.
I figured you would have talked about Magmore Caverns next, but okay.
No. We have Chozo Ruins is technically next.
By far the best segment of the game.
I don't know if I agree with that, though.
I don't.
That's just because I hate every other segment of the game, so that doesn't really mean much.
True.
The overall I thought was tame.
Look, he's giving. Let me bask in the moment. He's giving praise, okay?
No,
I'm not giving praise. I'm just saying it's a 2 out of 10 instead of 0.5 out of 10. It's still.
No, actually, it's so bad it engages my inner Brucius. Hey, brah, it fucking sucks.
So, oh gosh.
No, it's not that bad.
So
I didn't care for Chozo.
One thing that I do like, though, that I want to say, this involves the entire game, But one thing that Chozo Ruins first exemplifies, and then it's transferred everywhere else in the game. I love how you could tell that it is a dilapidated ruin, and you can tell that there's a civilization there, but you can also tell it's not one of those stupid things where it's like, oh, this civilization was clearly in the past and it's totally more high-tech than literally everything to exist. You can tell it has some, like, really primitive stuff to it, but you can also tell that it was clearly thriving, and then something happened, and you can tell it's, like, legitimate ruins, and the backstory behind it is pretty cool and pretty unique and all that sort of stuff, and it tells you, like, for the different rooms, if you scan and read all this stuff, it says, like, oh, this room was for this and that, and it tells you, like, oh, this place, just so you guys know the story, if you guys don't know because you guys don't know it, the story of Chozo Ruins is the Chozo, which are the beings that raised Samus after her parents were killed, they were striving on this planet, and what ended up happening was, I think they call it, I don't know what they call the missile or the meteor that was the Phazon. I think they call it like the Great Impact or the Great something that happened.
That would explain why that one area is called Impact Crater.
Yeah, and what happens is the Phazon starts corrupting the land, and it starts corrupting the Chozo, and they decide they need to leave the planet at this point because the Chozo and everybody's getting corrupt, and they're going to wait for the chosen one, which the chosen one is, or the special one, which that in this case is Samus, because that's how it's been in all the games, to go, protect and save the planet, but what's done is done, sort of thing. And they leave behind all the power-ups and stuff, because that's what the Chozo do in all the games. Because they know who's coming, so they go and save it. But I do like the whole, like, I think aesthetically it's probably the most boring place to me, personally.
Yeah,
but
maybe, but then again, I'm reminded that there's one room that's basically just lava caves, and another is just
lava caves.
Ice.
True. This has the most, like, traditional level sense in the entire, like, the trilogy, probably.
No, I can't do that. I was going to say it's probably the most linear, but honestly, the Magmar Caverns are probably more linear.
Oh, Magmar Caverns is, I almost want to say it's like an intermission area, in a sense. If that makes any sense.
What? To Phazon Mines?
No, the Magmar Cavern is supposed to be like, this links to every zone, sort of thing. It's like an intermission area.
Yep, and that's why I'm so sick of this place.
A hub area, then.
Like a secondary hub. Okay, I cannot see this door for the life of me.
There's what Mayo was talking about before.
I know. Bendezium. But yeah, no. So, like, what made you enjoy it then, man? I'm actually curious. What made you like it more than everything else? Even though you still didn't like it, what made you like it more than every other area? I'm curious.
I guess the main thing is that I actually forget where I was going. So many times I would get roadblocked and have no idea what I was doing wrong. Like, am I screwing something up? Am I missing an item? I didn't know most of the time. The game didn't make it clear. I would try scanning, nothing to scan. Well, crap. What do I do now? Try my other devices if I had them. Well, shit. Still no help. It's a better backtrack and hope I find something. So not the problem in the ruins.
So I'm assuming it felt the most straightforward to you, therefore you enjoyed it the most. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have nearly as many roadblocks.
That's understandable.
I still had a couple roadblocks, but they weren't nearly as bad.
Yeah. And plus, the backtracking, then, for the most part, the backtracking in that area, that's probably the main level where, like, most of the stuff is kind of, like, along the way while you're trying to traverse getting something back or whatever. You can kind of get everything that's along the way there. I think there's only a few that you kind of actually have to, like, forcefully, go back for. Yeah, for me personally, though, I like it, obviously, but I think it's probably the most boring area visually for me, because it is just drab orange ruins area, I guess, and I don't know, there's just something about it. It's just like, yeah, it's okay. And then I like the idea of the ruins. They feel like, actual ruins and stuff like that, but visually speaking, I guess I'm just not really a fan of how it seems really one note, I guess, for lack of a better description. Like it wasn't a rainy forest with all this cool stuff. It was just kind of like, you know, orange, dilapidated ruins. What did you think about the ruins, Em?
Honestly, I don't like them.
Okay, can we talk about the elephant in the room real quick? Chozo ghosts are the worst.
I didn't have to look them that often.
But whenever you realize, I'm supposed to use the, X-ray visor to really find them.
I mean, I didn't even bother doing that. Most of the time, I just brute force and I was fine. I didn't actually have that much trouble with them. I had way more trouble with the enemies in the face on mine.
You have to fight a few of them without the X-ray visor, and it's annoying as hell to deal with. They take two super missiles
at first, but
I think they're annoying.
I just stopped caring about the X-ray visor, and I was fine.
I think they're the worst at first, but once you get the X-ray visor, you can just hit them without any issues at that point. Because they take two super missiles to get. And speaking of which, you know what?
It was legitimately one super missile that would end them.
Oh, maybe it's because I was playing on hard mode.
Thank you for the flex, okay? Calm down.
I thought it was 2. If it's just 1, then maybe it's because I was playing on hard mode. I didn't know if there was an HP difference. Yeah, no, they're annoying. And yeah, you can just X-ray visor them and kill them after a while.
The ruins I don't like the reason why is just, I guess with the 3D style it's just not as sustainable. Because, I mean, I know Zero Mission had the ruins, but it was... I guess it was a mix of cave and ruin, is what really...
It was. This one is just, like, straight-up ruins.
And I guess that's just why I didn't like it. Too much of the one thing.
I do think it is the simplest area, like Mayo said, though, which is really nice, too.
Yeah, I mean, generic idea, but...
I feel like it would have worked as a good tutorial area if they didn't have the spaceship.
Well, man,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Super Metroid does the same exact thing.
It kind of is a tutorial area in the sense of it's trying to readjust you to getting your abilities back. In that sense, as opposed to,
retraining.
Yeah, as opposed to retraining. Yeah, exactly. But, yeah. So I actually wanted to ask you guys, too, real quick. What do you guys think about the beams and the beam power-ups? Because I know that won't take very long to talk about. Yeah, and the beam power-ups.
Yes,
if you did get any of them.
The beans!
Yes, the beans. By my decree, they are officially known as the beans for the rest of the video.
Well, if we're talking about chili, that was good, but if we're talking about baked, I'm not really a fan of baked beans.
I'm glad Em actually is going full force with his beans.
I don't like pinto beans, okay? I mean, no, really, I don't. I don't care for it.
I mean, I don't like beans, period.
Yeah, I was allergic to them as a kid, so I just have this negative stigma. I can see.
Your parents...
Wow, am I the bean enthusiast then?
You know how parents are usually like, you have to eat your broccoli? For them, they were like, you have to eat your beans to Mayo.
But, no thanks. But I like living.
But yeah, how did you guys feel about the beams?
Standard power beam. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. There is better ways to bind the super missile than what was done.
Absolutely.
It's not terrible, but it is awkward.
Given their power, I think it's a fair what's it called? I think it's a fair compromise, yeah. Because they're really strong.
Yeah, but I mean, you deplete 5 missiles.
Yeah, you already lose 5 missiles.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess it's more of like a lot of enemies die in like 1 or 2 hits from them. So.
I mean, it's not like I'm trying to fire a nuclear bomb into one small town. Jeez.
You might as well be.
No, I think a regular missile was effective enough.
Anyway, so then the question leads me to: did you guys get any of the beam power-ups besides the super missiles, which are mandatory? I think.
I think I got 2 of them, and I missed one, but I don't remember which one I missed.
Which 2 did you get?
Talking about more than
the purple beam is the one I missed.
You missed the Wave Buster? You got the flamethrower?
How? Oh.
And the ice spreader?
Oh.
You missed the Wave
okay.
Buster! Oh, I'm so sorry for you. That's such a good weapon.
Okay, I get what you're getting at. Okay. The let's see here. The ice one I didn't get.
The ice one's the
The
easiest
ice one was
to
in
get.
the mines, I think?
Yeah, ice. That's the flamethrower. The ice spreader is in the. Actually, we saw it real quick. It's in the Magmor Caverns.
Oh, piss off! I mean, no.
It's literally. There's a tunnel that you have to explode. Because there's it's weak and there's Bendesium. It's one of those things. It's the ice
almost
spreader.
never used those super items though. I just didn't find them useful. I didn't even use super missiles.
Flamethrower was not.
Flamethrower kind of sucks, unfortunately. The Wave Buster is great, but it eats your missiles like freaking crazy.
Yeah. Really.
And super missiles are honestly the victor. Because basically, in terms of beam power-ups...
they are.
Yeah,
you do realize that you could probably end bosses with only a few of them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the Omega Pirate, which is one of the last bosses in the game, you can beat with, I think, like, I want to say, like, 6, maybe?
Okay, you're talking about when he's actually vulnerable.
Yes. It, like, one shot of the super missile makes him go to, like,
I used the plasma
phase.
beam for that.
So I'll be honest when it comes to beams. I think all the beams are good except for the wave beam, unfortunately.
Well, I'll say this about the wave beam: I like the fact that it homes in on shit.
Yeah, that alone made it really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really.
that is
and
nice.
It stuns.
Yeah, that is nice, but it's just so weak. And the thing with the charge beam is I have super missiles, so I just feel like that. And then for the ice beam, I can just ice missile just about everything, and I'm like set.
Ice missile.
Yeah, like ice and like use my ice, like the ice beam to freeze them, and then use the missile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I always felt like the wave beam I didn't really need because I could just use the ice beam into the missile.
Yeah, here's the thing
or I can
that
just
really got annoying, speaking of the beams, the damn doors.
Oh yeah.
The constant switching. Blue, any
Because like we were kind of getting it before, there are beams that are just better than others. So you're just not going to want to use those weaker beams. But you have to switch to it to open the doors.
And
or
really,
kill off the certain pirates later in the game.
if it was a one-time thing, that would have been fine.
The only time that really irritates me is when you have to go through a room basically that's like exclusively. I think you can actually switch beams in Morph Ball, but I think the only time it really bugs me is when you're going through Morph Ball and you need to swap over to say like you have the Ice Beam equipped, but you need to swap over to the Wave Beam. And sometimes I can get a little intrusive to me, but for the most part,
the problem would have gone away if they just did one thing. Make it so it's a one-time issue. You shoot it with the beam you need once, and then it stays fixed. But no, you have to switch that beam every single time.
That would be
it's
fine.
a nightmare for backtracking.
Yeah, I would be okay with that change. I don't think it's too intrusive as a whole, but yeah, I could see that like being much more.
And not once did we see any kind of super missile door or power bomb door.
I'm fine with that. There's so little power bombs anyway. The power bombs don't really get too many uses except for the fact that they utterly destroy monsters.
Yeah, and using them on Physion Metroids.
Fusion?
Physion.
Oh, Physion, yeah. I forgot their names. I didn't know if you were correct or not.
Yeah. When we get to that, yeah, and Mayo can probably vouch for me because those are also
we'll
color-based.
get those when we get to the mines.
Yeah. Oh, doggy. You rarely hear the doggy.
We have a lot of mailmen coming today.
The beams, you said.
Yeah. How did you feel?
Power beam definitely going to be focused as being the most powerful. Because, I mean, that's just the way the series is establishing it.
I'm a little disappointed. I thought
Wave
you were going to
beam.
say that's the way the cookie crumbles.
The wave beam,
Yes.
useful for homing in. It really is. Ice, useful for going against enemies that you just want to get rid of with a missile.
Yeah, basically.
And plasma is like a.
That's just the OP beam.
Well, it's pretty much like a. What was I going to go with? Like a 1/3 super missile.
I would say it's more like half a super missile.
I'm kind of fighting myself on it.
It's really strong.
I mean, especially when charged.
Yeah, it's really strong, and it goes really fast too. So it doesn't miss its mark very often.
Unless something's too far away.
Yeah, even then you can snipe enemies.
I found that just so weird. Too far away. Oh, it just abruptly stops.
Oh,
so it's
yeah.
It's like throwing a Tesla coil at someone.
I guess it's kind of like, because it is fire. Fire can't really extend forever, I guess. Because I think it's like the only beam that does that.
I remember someone was actually making a bit of a fan remake of Super Metroid at one point, and you know, one of the bigger programming languages years ago, and they threw in what was called a fire beam. Mind you, the plasma beam was already there.
I mean, plasma isn't fire.
Plasma isn't, you said?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not, but
it
it's
plays the role of fire, really.
It's hot, which is where people get the flame from.
It plays the role of something that would be fire, clearly.
Yeah, yeah.
Which kind of begs the question, why not use it instead of missiles? The only explanation is speed.
Well, missiles home on, too.
In terms of missiles, they're very helpful whenever you just don't want to deal with having to fight with enemies that are so damn mobile, it's not even funny. So, you just want to get rid of them, fire a missile while targeted on them. And if you really want to get rid of them, super missiles.
Yeah.
Actually,
basically firing a small nuclear bomb into their face.
But even then, I don't feel like most of the enemies in this game were that obnoxious. Even the ghosty, which you guys seem to hate, I had no issues with.
Or no, it's more like the power bombs, like a small nuclear bomb.
Yeah, no, the power bombs are ridiculous if you use them on enemies.
Well, I mean, they're power bombs. They're more powerful than super missiles for a reason.
I highly doubt you guys use them on Omega Pirate, but it also absolutely wrecks them if you place them in the right spot.
I tried. I couldn't get them right.
I didn't think of it.
If you place him right under his legs, it can completely destroy his armor. It's kind of OP against him.
Okay.
Yeah, the power bombs are kind of crazy. Let's talk about, I guess, Magmore Caverns then, though. So, yeah, well, we were
talking about locations.
We did talk about it a little bit already. It's kind of like, I feel like it's the intermission zone. I like it for the most part. It's fine. It can get very annoying walking back and forth through it, though. Like Mayo said, I do agree. But at least the music is nice, and at least it's pretty quick to traverse through for the most part.
It felt like it was going too much based on Super Metroid, if I'm honest, when it came to the music.
I mean, it's Norfair.
I mean, I know. Lower Norfair? Yeah, I know. Or Ridley, however you want to go and say it.
It's Ridley.
Which is still... Actually, no, that pertains to Super Metroid. I learned to not... I learned to develop a notable boredom and mild frustration for Magmore Caverns because of how often you have to go through it.
Oh yeah,
you do have to go through.
I'm pretty sure at least 40-50% of my game time was just no stupid caverns. I was so sick of it.
Yeah, after a while, I just kind of autopilot and just straight up run through it.
Yeah, and there's no sprinting.
Easily the biggest argument for the game needing a fast travel.
Yeah, there's no sprint button, which could have been nice.
I mean, you can just... The closest thing is boost ball.
Boost fall?
Boost ball.
Oh, ball.
I thought you said fall.
No, I meant ball. It sounded like
it's
ball.
something, but...
It's like twice as fast as running.
Yeah,
but you have to charge it up, and you're jumping so much in there. You're trying to go fast.
If you have the spring ball, like for the Wii version, obviously it's not that bad. But yeah, for the like original GameCube release and stuff like that, you're gonna be swapping constantly, it on and off. But yeah, I guess we all kind of are in agreement. It's like whatever, because it's like an intermission area for the most part that you just go through way too much. I mean, aesthetically, I think it's pretty alright, but
aesthetically, it's more like this. Oh, that's hot. That's real hot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So nothing else.
Next, yeah, I guess we go to Fandrina Drifts, which is most people's favorite area. I
thought we were
screw this place.
We are right here. We're in there right now, actually. So I've
already ticked off all the Metroid Prime fans anyway. Who cares? I hate this place.
It's like it's kind of a mixture for me. So okay, so I like the first area. I technically like all the areas, right? Which is I divide it in first area, pirate base, and then the depths is how I divide Fandrina Drifts. I like all of them, especially the depths. I wish there was more of the depths, especially because the music is really.
I can almost hear him seething right now.
But the thing is, with the space pirate base, that gets annoying to me is you have to go through there one too many times for me, and that's kind of a long detour.
Oh yeah, not to mention the pathway that you have to go to just to get to the research, just to get a hold of the thermal visor. That's a mess.
Oh yeah, like the
that's a big damn mess.
It is a little frustrating going through there multiple times, I will say, but at the very least, I do overall. I like it, but I don't like going through it like 3-4 times. That's where my issues stem with that section specifically.
I think I may have went through there more than you did then.
I think I did too.
Long story short, we all went there longer than we all wish we did.
Yeah.
And that right there is gonna make you learn to really hate the Space Pirates theme.
Oh yeah.
If not phase on mines, because they're all
It's
over the place
too
there.
Yeah, like if I spent 40% of the time I played time in the Magma Cavern, I probably spent another 30% just in the Space Pirates area of Fandrina Drifts. Not even just Fandrina Drifts in general, just the Space Pirate space.
It's just a lot of stuff is the issue. Like a
Because
lot of
I
stuff
was
to go
definitely
through.
missing energy packs at that point of the game, so
Not
every
to
shot was
mention-
really lethal.
Not to mention, this is the first place you ever find Metroids at.
Yeah, but luckily they're easy to deal with.
Yeah, and here's the
that
thing, too. Stereotypically, you're supposed to take care of them with ice and missiles. Here, you actually either have to charge them up so damn much until
You
they
don't even
explode.
have ice the first time you come here.
No, but you get ice. Luckily, not long after.
Yeah,
Yeah, not really helping for your first travel through, though.
Yeah, but
yeah,
luckily
but you
they're
have to
easy to deal with
backtrack
still.
through. You have to backtrack all the way back to the research lab just to get to go through that door.
Yeah, which is annoying, to say the least. Oh, I don't have super missiles. What am I doing? But what do you guys think about the depths then? That's where you get like the gravity suit, and that's where you have to backtrack from the what's it like?
Not as bad as the Talon Overworld underwater, but it still sucks.
There's only like one underwater. Well, there's 2 underwater parts.
It's
actually.
nothing compared to Talon's underwater section. It really is nothing.
Do you like the
compared to-
music in it, Em? Because Mayo doesn't know what the music is.
I recognize it.
It's got jams.
I don't know why I recognize it. Seems like I heard it from somewhere else, but
A lot of people love the music in Fandrina Drifts, period. Not just the depths, but like just Fandrina
the
Drifts.
depths was more interesting. But whenever it came to the surface area,
Yeah.
it was peaceful.
Yes, it is.
The music was. just hits the snow stereotype very well.
The thing I want to say real quick too about this is Town Overworld and Phendrana Drift's depths. The Town Overworld has its own like its own like two themes. The first theme sounds very inviting, right? Like, oh, this is your first time on the world and it's interesting like that. And the second theme sounds more like, yeah, it's adventure time sort of thing, right? I get that sort of vibe from it. Like, yeah, it's time
Which is pretty damn late into the area.
Yeah, you get it. It's when it's after you go through the space pirate thing and Phendrana Drifts, I believe. I think that's like the turning point. But I like it. Do you like it, Mayo?
It's got water. No.
No.
Do you like me, Mayo?
Questionable.
Alright, well, you're not getting out of that basement.
Ouch. Ouch.
I'm still bitter that you made me play this crap.
So M doesn't like Phendrana Drifts? Or do you? Outside of the obvious space pirate base.
No, not really.
Okay. Screw you too.
And it's specifically the pirates areas.
Yeah.
And falling down the shaft a bit too much.
Which shaft?
The one in the back side of the area.
Oh, okay.
Talking about that was really easy to fall off of.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That shit got irritating real fast.
I had more problems in the Talon spot where I was falling, but that one.
No, I can
so
understand
awful.
that, Mayo. I can really understand that because I tried to get out of there without the gravity suit. Oh, that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Thank goodness this game doesn't have drowning or air meters or any of that crap. It's been so much worse.
I just want to kill you. Die.
Anyhow.
So the next area would be, I think it's actually Phazon Mines.
Yep. That almost sounded like Yogi's dog, but I know it was.
Oh my god.
I didn't respond either way.
Oh.
So, I guess the plus side of this area is that you only really have to come here once except for the artifacts, but I don't know, it's a small upside for a bunch of downsides.
I actually had to go there, go through it several times. Oh boy.
I can't wait to hear your story because it sounds like you hate it more than I do.
I'm the only person here who probably really likes Phazon Mines.
You're probably the only person here
You're
that
a
really likes the
sick
game at all.
You're sick. You know what?
Yeah, Phazon Mines is cool.
You're sick. You know.
It's got cool.
Get help.
It's really atmospheric. It's really
closet. You need help.
deadly.
Stop sniffing those markers, okay?
No, they smell good.
Stop sniffing the dry erase markers, you rube.
I like the markers.
See, I'm not the only one who likes the markers.
I mean, he's probably also sniffing, what's it called? I was about to say eyeliner for some stupid reason.
How did you know?
I was going to say whiteout. That's what it was.
Charge me,
no.
you big brute.
I'm sorry, what was that about fruit?
I need missiles. Charge me, you big brute.
Oh.
So, for the objective worst area of the game, yeah.
Oh.
Not Phazon Mines. I like Phazon Mines. The only thing I don't like about it is having to backtrack to get the plasma beam, to get the grappling beam and stuff like that's just stupid.
I had to backtrack for the X-ray beam because I did not know I was supposed to have that before going
The
in.
X-ray beam?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
no, that
That was
too.
pretty far into the Phazon Mines, so I had to go all the way back.
Oh no, there's a little thing to go back to the beginning at that point because they don't
I couldn't find it.
they don't really expect
I had
you
to go the long way.
they don't expect you to have it at that point. The what's it called? I'm gonna freaking die because I don't have missiles.
Well, you were spinning missiles like a madman earlier. What do you expect?
I need missiles to kill him.
Be fine.
I literally have nothing else in my arsenal.
You'll be fine.
Why? But Phase on Mine, dude. Phase on Mines has the cool. It's got Omega Pirate though.
You
Omega Pirate's awesome.
don't like it.
You don't like anything.
Okay, the collision masks on this thing were... oh boy. They were something
For the
else.
love of God, give me missiles!
Okay, I guess I'll, start since we're just going to carry on with this. Or it'll take forever. Phase on Mines. What a majestic hellhole this was.
Can that just be the entire description of Phase on Mines, please? Like, can we just drop it there?
You just that. Okay. I'll say this. This area, for some reason, and it's kind of obvious, I got a Half-Life vibe from it.
I can see it.
It's really strange. It's like Gabe Newell just puked all over it. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's obviously not a good thing that anyone gets sick, okay? But I'm gonna say this. Phase on Mines is clearly very linear, right?
Yes, it has 3 floors.
The problem with that is whenever you are trying to backtrack with a linear path, you're going to have to deal with all of the shit multiple times just to navigate from point A to point B to point B to point A.
To point C.
That is frustrating, especially whenever you have space pirates that have, I shit you not, color distinct based weaknesses.
Oh, I know. I've been complaining about that this whole time.
And if you're colorblind,
Hello.
well, that's gonna be fun for you.
Yep. I mean, I could tell the ice ones apart pretty well, but the other 3 was basically a crapshoot. So,
Not to mention the radiation that you can't touch for a bit. I mean, that's fine and all. That's fine and all. It's just, jeez.
Not like Phazon?
no.
It's radioactive. What do you expect?
It is. It's crazy.
And then you've got, these giant radiated mushrooms that you can obviously stand on.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
I mean, if you couldn't, that would just be OP.
I mean, this place will make you hate turrets, too. No one's mentioned turrets. Screw them.
The turrets
aren't that bad.
Okay for the most part. They're annoying, but I feel like they're fair annoying, usually.
The turrets
There's exceptions.
The turrets in Phase on Mines aren't that bad, because most of the ones that are clumped together, there's actually switches that you can scan to turn them off.
Well, I mean, I didn't exactly know this, so...
I've never found them.
There's little switches... Okay, so one example is there's this one, you probably know which section I'm talking about when I mention it. There's one section with 4 turrets in a hallway.
Yep, I know exactly the one.
And there's a morph ball bomb to get under it.
Yeah.
And
I
behind
think you're supposed to power bomb that spot, but no, they don't work.
There's when you go under it and you go behind them, there's a little switch that you can scan and it turns them off.
Okay, didn't know this.
I didn't. I just
destroyed them.
It's the same thing with what's it called in Frigate Orpheon. In the way beginning of the game, there's a few switches that you can turn off the what's it called. You can turn off the missiles. And plus, you can just freeze them too if they're really that much of an annoyance to you. You can just
at that point, why not destroy them?
I mean, if you want to. They can be really annoying, though. I can see you getting annoyed getting hit by them, though, because they do kind of shoot you, really far away.
Yeah, and whenever you're here, they hurt. They actually hurt.
Yeah, it's because they're like the Mega Class version or whatever the heck they're called.
And they look no different.
No, they're bigger.
They're bigger.
Yeah, they're much bigger. They're like twice the size minimum.
I didn't notice any size.
That's not something you're going to notice your first time through.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, you could scan them. They got different scans to them too.
I mean, again, this is not exactly something we're gonna know. I mean,
the game implores you to scan everything.
yeah, but then you have to deal with Metroids that are slowly being irradiated with the phase on, right? They're not an issue because they're normal Metroids, right?
Yep. Even the Hunter Metroids aren't too bad. Those are the ones that can grapple onto you.
Yeah.
Because you can freeze them too.
Well, I mean, you come across those in the snowy area.
Yeah.
Literally one.
There's really one problem until the impact crater. Before then, they're fine.
And might I add, they are one ugly looking thing. Ugh.
They're like squids.
Well,
ugly squids.
Yeah.
Squids already aren't exactly attractive.
That's rude to the squid community of squids.
That's some squid.
Unless your name is Squidward Tentacles, I don't want to see you.
Let's see.
I will admit, backtracking through it can be also a little annoying just in general, because like you said, yeah, it's like from point A to point B to point A.
You monster!
It's a bad squid. It's a bad squid.
But yeah, I can see the frustration. Also, it is easily the hardest area in the game. Like, no question.
Well, sure.
Also, it has some of the best.
Really safe points.
It does have some of the best scans in the game, though. For example, there's a random scan about so they're reverse engineering Samus's stuff. By the way, there's also an quote unquote important
I
scan.
actually caught part of that when I was skimming through.
I
did read some of these.
For some reason, I started worrying that whenever I started Prime 2 for some reason. But it never occurred to me that, they're doing it now in the Phazon mines.
Yeah, so there's also one near the way beginning. There's a quote-unquote important scan where they say, like, we have reports of bounty hunter Samus Aran in the vicinity. Please, kill immediately.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, on site sort of thing. But they also talk about how they reverse engineering her stuff. And there's this really funny one where they're talking about how they tried to reverse engineer her morph ball, and how all the test subjects have been like contorted beyond.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, how they're all like contorted beyond recognition because of them attempting to do it, and I always found that one really humorous because they're like, they're trying to reverse engineer her stuff, but the morph ball, that one's not really working out that well.
Rep.
And how all of the testers have been like contorted beyond recognition. I've always just found that one really funny. And then they're infusing like all the space pirates with the Phazon stuff, and that's why they're getting all strong and what have you. Because they just want to be strong.
You just your daily cup of radiation.
Don't you love to eat radiation?
No,
thanks.
So you guys are probably
I actively avoid Fallout for this.
You guys are probably going to find this even stranger, but Phazon Mines is probably visually my favorite place too.
Cretan.
It's dull.
The thing is, I think the thing that I like about it is like feels like I'm genuinely getting deeper and deeper and deeper into these like mines, and it's just getting darker. And this is where the claustrophobia definitely feels like it exists in the game for me pretty hard.
Well, surely I'm not the only one who got a slight Victorian vibe from it.
Kind of. I think that's kind of the point, though.
So,
that's a brief impact crater.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were saying.
Oh. I'm sorry. What were you saying, Mayo?
I was saying really early in this how one of the big problems I had with the original graphics was the fact that it's way too dark. That really comes to bite you in the Phazon Mines. It's almost impossible to see where you're going unless you have your brightness way up.
That's a place where they definitely 100% expects you. The deeper you go in, they're 100% expecting you to just be swapping between X-ray and thermal over and over again. Because thermal visor literally like outlines, like, you know, the mushrooms. It literally outlines the mushrooms for you.
Yeah, but both those visors suck for seeing anything, though.
I think they're
especially
totally
thermal.
I think they're fine. X-ray is worse because X-ray has like very limited vision. Thermal, I think, is
everything looks like it's made out of bone.
I mean, it's X-ray.
Well, yeah, that's true, but still, a tad much.
That's what she said. Haha. I don't know, man. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And of course, we have to talk a little bit more about the what's it called? We do have to talk a little bit more about... no, we kind of really went over the artifacts as much as we could, I would say. They are the worst part.
I'm going to go back to it.
You guys didn't like Omega Pirate, though? Omega Pirate's awesome!
No, I hated every boss in this game.
The issue with that boss is his, you know, sub-weak points are... They're weird to hit. That's the issue.
I think they're easy to hit if you're using what's it called?
If you're using missiles, yeah.
If you're using missiles, they can be missiles is where they can be kind of hard. Plasma beam is where they're pretty easy to hit.
You sure about that?
Yeah,
yes.
I was using plasma exclusively, basically, except for when I had to swap around for those pirates, desperately hoping I would get the right color.
Yeah, that boss. Okay, I can see how that boss maybe was the worst thing in the world for Mayo. Because his little mooks that come out, or the color-coded ones.
Oh, just wait till we get to the final boss.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Since we didn't really talk about bosses, what did you guys think about the bosses in general, like Thardis, the ice golem, and Flagra, the bug?
I feel like the tutorial boss was fine. Every other boss I really didn't like at all. For basically the same reason. I just don't enjoy the gameplay loop.
Well, yeah, I mean, right after Omega Pirate. Yeah, then you meet the Physian asteroids. And they're color-based as well. Found that out on my own.
I don't think the colors matter from them.
No, they do. They really do.
I just powerbomb them because if you powerbomb them, you're good.
I mean, yeah, it's useful to powerbomb them, but that lowers, you know.
You don't exactly have the most power bombs either.
And they split. Yeah, there's only 8 in the game, tops.
And you start with 3, I think, maybe only 2.
I think 3.
Not a lot.
I think it's 3.
Either way, you don't have a lot to spare. I think by the end of the game, I still only had 4, maybe 5.
The Fission Metroid. The Fission Metroids also start appearing after you kill what's it called, Omega Pirate.
No, well, I mean, yeah, that's whenever they start appearing specifically.
Isn't that what?
Yeah.
I'm just thankful we don't have to deal with things like Hunter Physian Metroid.
I'm about to turn off my phone because my sister's annoying as shit.
Aw, I was hoping you'd be.
Oh, if it was a solicitor, I would 100% just answer right now.
Aw, fine.
Instead, it's just my sister being annoying. Like, she can't take a hint if somebody doesn't answer something, then they must clearly not be busy with something. Like, just get off my back. Sorry about my complaining about this. It's just, I'm so tired of dealing with her.
Just set your phone to silent. So
it is silent. I'm going to turn it off soon so I can't freaking hear the vibrations. Because silent has the vibrations still.
Oh, it doesn't on my phone.
But, yeah, it does on mine. So, yeah, we can talk about the impact crater and the end of the game now. First of all, actually, Metroid.
Yeah. Oh, wait, before we jump to that, did you ever get a... What was that?
That's my brother.
Okay. Well, yeah, I assumed that. But thank you for the clarity.
No, that was just me. I was
the elevator before Torian in Super Metroid, right?
Yes.
You know how it's got a very distinct music all its own, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever get that same track vibe from Phase on Mines at all?
Kind of a bit.
Because, I mean, that's the impression I was getting. Like, it was trying to utilize it. I just don't know how else to explain it, though.
I don't know how to explain anything. I love music in Metroid Prime. But Metroid, let's talk about him.
Who?
Oh, okay.
The boss after you get all the artifacts.
Yeah, because we already talked about the artifacts, so...
Yeah.
First time in the game I ever actually felt like I needed the missiles, or the super missiles. Or either, really.
He's a pretty fun boss. I like him. I like all the final ending bosses as a whole. I think they're all pretty cool.
Surprisingly easy, but still kind of hard to hit.
Yeah, that was my problem. Just could not land any hits, no matter what I did.
Didn't you have to... I want to say you had to hit his mouth?
No, you have to hit his chest.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you have to hit his mouth first for you to actually hit his chest.
Ah, okay.
If that makes any sense. A sub-weak point, I guess.
But overall, though, I think he's a really fun boss. He can be really hard sometimes, or really... I don't know if hard's the correct word.
But I tell you right now, he's a hell of a lot better than Ridley from Other M. That was hell!
That's not saying much.
No, no. It's saying a lot, because if you've ever played through that on hard, that fight is bullshit!
We don't... Yeah, nobody talks about that game, though. Okay.
Don't tell me, I will pick it as vengeance. Making me play this.
Oh.
I will.
Oh boy. I mean, there has to be others. Come on, Mayo. You're playing with nuclear buttons right now, Monkus.
Yes, you
Monka
are.
S.
And anyways, yeah, again, I think it's a pretty fun fight. I don't really know what to say though, because like the thing is, like, he's kind of like a mega pirate in the same sense. Like, all the bosses are kind of not one note, but it's like he's probably the most one note, because he's like brute force head on, you go toe to toe sort of thing. Overall, I do think he's very fun though, and then you beat him, and then you get to go into the Impact Crater, which is a very short area with a lot of Fission Metroids, and that's not fun.
It's essentially the Torian, and it sounds just like Torian from Super Metroid. It's weird.
It's definitely not...
and it sounds like it's using one of the alien deaths from Super Metroid in its music. It really does.
I mean, it might be.
It sounds like they are genuinely using it.
I don't know often. It might be though.
Well, let's just say it probably is. Just for the hell of it, I guess.
Ty, I'm sorry guys, I had to hear the vibrations. It's getting so annoying.
Just throw it on your bed or something.
Yeah, but I'll still hear it is the annoying part. Yeah, that's... I'm one step away from what's it called? Turning it off. Don't worry about it. So the crater it's really simple. It's really straightforward. It's just really just like 2 rooms and a hall and a vertical shaft for the most part.
It's the area that made me learn to really hate the Metroids. Like, I
Oh,
find
yeah,
them that obnoxious before then, but...
Well, it's because that's the Fission Metroids. They're the special kind, so...
Yeah, and I'll say this, Mayo, if that's one thing you won't like, I can say this without a doubt. The Metroids in the first, second, and Super, they're not this bad. They really aren't.
He's technically played the second game.
I played Teams to Turns.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying Mayo's technically played the second game.
Yes.
Okay. Honestly, the second game's Metroids are obviously harder.
No, they're easy. You just suck.
Wow.
Joke.
defensive gamer moments.
Well, I mean, it is just like a small trek from, what's it called? From I mean, it's just a small trek from the beginning to the end at that point. So luckily, yes, they're annoying, and I think they infinitely spawn there too, which is even worse.
Yes, yes, they do.
So you kind of
what I had to do is I would just walk forward a few steps, then I'd have to go into Morph Ball because that takes a few seconds every time you do it.
And all you hear is...
And then rush again for a few seconds, then you got to stop again to go back into Morph Ball. Power Bomb again. Then you gotta go quickly and keep running. You better hope your power bombs don't run out.
Oh, you don't have to power bomb. You can just like get them off. Like, you can just use a bomb just to get them off.
And all
they're just gonna attack you again.
True.
That's the problem.
And all you're hearing during this entire process is a lot of Metroid reeing.
Yeah. And sucking on your head.
And it's clearly not the good soup. Okay, it's
soup.
Obviously not the good soup. It's very bad soup.
You are having a lot of out of context sentences right now. I hope you realize that.
That's deliberate.
It's the good. It's the good soup. The soup that I enjoy.
No, very bad soup.
Very bad soup.
No, it's clearly bad soup.
Yes, but anyways, soup. the next section is Metroid Prime, the boss, not the game.
Screw that boss. I've already explained the whole color issue.
So what sucks is because you guys didn't have also all the power-ups. You didn't have the Wave Buster, and one of you didn't have the ice.
Had the Wave Buster, alright.
Mayo didn't have the Wave Buster, and Em
I tried using the others, but Super Missile is by far the best.
Em, you didn't have... You said you didn't have the... What's it called? The Ice Spreader, right?
I didn't.
The Ice Spreader literally freezes Metroid Prime. So.
I didn't use any of the super beams on this, except for super missiles.
I use all of them all the time.
Because, well, it never occurred to me.
Yeah, Flamethrower I don't use. The thing is way too short range.
It's straight garbage, okay?
Yeah, Flamethrower sucks. It's fun to use, but it sucks. The Wave Buster uses so much ammo.
I really just wish they would have set something up for, like, if you got all the beams, you'd have, let's say, some sort of hyper beam.
I mean, you technically have a hyper beam during the last phase of Metroid Prime, which I do like the boss Metroid Prime as a whole, because it does make me feel like it's testing like all my abilities and all my swapping knowledge and making sure I know when to dodge correctly and all that sort of stuff. It maybe goes on a little too long if I had to make a complaint. But there's really
just too many phases.
Well, first of all, I'll say this. A lot of boss fights, I genuinely think a game can never be too long. It's just have fun keeping and maintaining its interest, or the fact that, or, being able to sustain interest. And I'll say this. New phases where, let's say, a boss has got different attacks and stuff is a very smart way of doing that, right?
In this case, it adapts to your defenses. Or your attacks, rather.
I'm sorry, repeat that?
I was saying, in this case, the boss adapts to your attacks with defenses.
Well, I mean, mind you, that's smart, but...
I mean, I treat it like an alien life form. It seems about right. I don't think it would just suddenly learn how to get new attacks. I feel like it would... just try to use its defense mechanisms.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's kind of how I took that boss.
Where it takes time to learn how to do something.
Yeah,
to me though. It's just like it would randomly swap over to something totally unrelated.
Sometimes it's really annoying because sometimes, especially during the last few segments, it'll want to go like to ice, and then you're like, okay, you swap over to ice, and then as soon as you swap over to ice, it's like, nah, I take it back. I want to go back to wave.
Some of the phases were way more obnoxious than others. Like, I was praying for it to go to wave, just because that one was by far the easiest to deal with.
Honestly, it was, because it homed in.
Exactly.
I mean,
wave.
With ice. It's like ice was agony.
Wave.
That's
why the ice spreader is so good.
Meanwhile, you have Plasma Beam that hits like a fucking truck.
I always prayed it goes for Plasma Beam because it hurts like crazy.
Yeah.
Well, alternatively, it should go to Power for you more because do, that hits more. It doesn't hit like a truck. Then it hits like a tank because super missiles. You actually can use super missiles on this.
Yeah.
Which is great.
How did you... So then, yeah, you beat the boss, and then you go to the second phase, which is the Metroid Prime. I think it's like the brain is what it's called, I want to say. Which also has really cool music.
Why not just call it a shedded or something like that?
I think it's like either the true... I think it is actually like the true form. Like, that's the actual Metroid Prime. I think the first phase, if I'm not mistaken, like the first phase where you're fighting the crab thing, I think that's like its shell.
Yeah.
And then the second phase is like, that's the actual... What the actual Metroid looks like. Being corrupted by Phazon and all that stuff for, that.
Which is kind of unnerving now at the fact that it looks like almost a human face.
Yep.
But I mean, that's a part of the point.
And I think that's also a really fun fight. And that's where you basically get, like, the super beam, essentially. Because, what's it called?
Hyper mode?
Yeah, you get hyper mode from it. Because you're pure infused with Phazon at that point. So you can also go into, like, you can use the Phazon to your advantage.
And basically become a walking Tesla coil.
Yeah, it's literally called the hyper beam. Because when you pause the game, it says it's called the hyper beam.
Whenever it comes to the difficulties after you've just finished the game, what is hyper mode exactly? Just hard?
You mean veteran?
Hyper mode.
Yeah, hyper mode is just harder.
Meanwhile, I have veteran over here.
Yeah, it starts out with veteran on what's it called?
What? Okay, it is veteran.
Normal is like easy mode. Veteran is like normal, I believe, and then hyper mode is hard mode. And then in this game, it's the other. It's
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was on normal.
They knocked the difficulty down for the Wii, if I remember right. But they also made the AI in order, so it kind of bounces out.
They kind of had to, because with the new controls and stuff like that. Here's a Metroid. So that was really Metroid Prime, though. After you beat it, you just you beat the Metroid Prime.
Yeah, let's not acknowledge the fact that you lost your Phazon suit.
Oh yeah, you lose your Phazon suit.
Oh, yeah.
It gets grabbed, and you're just like, okay, bye bye. And
see you next game.
Yes,
I guess.
See you next game. In the 100% ending, which you guys I know didn't get, you see. An arm with an eyeball reach up from the Phazon suit, which is supposed to be it's a a
Dark
hint.
Samus.
It's a hint to Dark Samus, yeah. Because Dark Samus is literally what's it called, like
the Phazon.
It's literally a Phazon creature, like Phazon Metroid Prime in the because the Phazon suit is it's pure Phazon technically. It just uses like that suit as its own shell at that point.
So it becomes sentient.
More like it corrupts, kind of like it. Yeah, in a sense, I guess it's more of just like a pure Phazon creature, essentially. Third game, it looks like it has armor on it. The second game, it does not look like it really has armor on it. Looks more skeletal and stuff. And that's Metroid Prime. Overall, one of my favorite games of all time, and I think these guys could agree it's one of their favorite games of all time.
I absolutely think you're high on every drug under the sun.
No, he is. He quite literally is.
I was joking on that front, but it is one of my favorite games of all time. I will admit that. What were you guys' final thoughts?
Let's play it knowing that we both hated it. Thanks, buddy.
Em doesn't sound like he hated it. Is the thing.
I hate the fact that I was getting stuck on everything, it felt like. I forgot to even mention that.
That doesn't mean you hate the game, though.
Oh, I know. I still had plenty of crap I didn't mention, like the stupid map system, which I still hate.
Which the hint system?
Kind of confusing.
In the past, I hate that stupid system.
The hint system?
Kind of confusing.
Or
no, the map.
Just this kind of map.
It's way too vague. Either don't have a map at all, or make it way more obvious where you're going, where to get through. Okay, so there's something a little higher. Okay, I can't see the door. Where am I going? I can't tell.
You know what would really have helped? A proper, better highlighting of the map of where all you've been.
Yeah, that would help.
Rather than a blinking location of where you're currently at. Like, dim the colors a bit from for rooms that you're currently not in. That would have helped. Hell, even objective locations would have helped with that. Because I was getting a bit lost and confused.
I like putting... I mean, I know I'm in the minority of absolutely loving it. Well, not minority, but in terms of here, I know I'm like the only person who, what's it called, really likes it. Jesus Christ. But yeah, you know, it's like I don't know. I just really like it. It's always been one of my favorite games of all time, and honestly, I just did this so Em would mostly play it because I just wanted him to finally play the game. And I know Mayo didn't beat the game, so it wasn't like a complete shot. I know he didn't really like the game at all.
I got pretty far in. Like, I got to the point where you get the ice beam. That's at least halfway in.
Yeah. When you first started?
Yeah, when I first played a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what exactly when I quit. I think I quit just before the face-on lines.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You finished right before the hard part.
Yeah. I was just getting so fed up with the terrible motion controls.
But yeah, so you know, if I had to rate the game out of 10, I would be comfortable with calling it a 10 out of 10 game for me.
Am I allowed to use negatives for my score?
No.
What? Okay.
I love the game so much. I've played it and beaten it so many times. I beat it 4 times before starting it. It's kind of like how Mayo, like when Mayo with Klonoa in a sense, where he did all this stuff, but I was just doing it kind of just to pass time and just to keep my mind fresh with the game.
I didn't consider Klonoa a perfect game by any stretch.
Well, the thing is, no game is perfect, but I think...
I mean, that was the one game so far I've actually given a proper score to, and it wasn't the 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I would give this game...
I still have my critiques.
I have some critiques in this game, and I do think there are some issues, but overall, I still think that the experience is like a 10. I think Super Metroid's a 10 out of 10 also. And this game, to me, feels like Super Metroid 3D, which is almost 100% what they were going for. They basically wanted to do that, probably just to be safe, because it was a Metroid game in 3D. To me, it's a 10 out of 10 game. I will always think that way. I love this game so much. I love Emerald Master. I love Mayo Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Metroid I drew on the right side of my screen in like 10 seconds.
Good job.
But I don't know. I really like the game. I knew you guys weren't going to come. Actually, I'm more surprised that M wasn't as negative. I thought he was going to be very, 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 very negative towards the game.
I knew I was going to be the most negative one coming into this. Like when I
was volatile I was volatile whenever I was playing the game. Okay.
But you seem like you didn't. You seem like you actually kind of enjoyed it. Okay, man, what would you rate it? No negatives allowed.
For once, I'll actually give it a score because it's super obvious. 0 out of 10. I hate everything about this game. It is garbage.
You can't do 0, so it's gonna be a 1.
Oof.
Zeros don't exist.
That there's nothing good in this garbage pile. Nothing.
So we got the inverse score of
by far worse than Ballbusters. By far.
That is a shocker, honestly.
I'm not surprised that he would rate it that. I don't think he's remotely correct on that one, because this game is more of a game, but I knew he would feel that way, so it's like, whatever. What about you, Mr. Emerald? I want to know what Emerald's final
might as well keep the trend going and give it a 5, right?
4 out of 10.
Close enough. I'll accept it.
A 4? You sounded more like you'd give it like a 6 or even a 5, yeah.
No, I'm not surprised.
Listen, it's the experiences in general. Okay, bear with me on this. It is all of the experiences combined with this that will always leave a bad taste in my mouth pertaining to this.
That's unfair.
How's it unfair?
It's unjust.
I mean, it's not like Mayo's score. I mean, good lord, man.
Yeah, that's an unfair score, you know?
I'm not saying it's an unfair score. If he hates it, he hates it.
I hate everything about this garbage pile that I refuse to even acknowledge as a game anymore.
I'm just biased. But,
okay,
yeah.
I can agree with that.
I'm biased, but even though with my qualms of the game, I still personally think overall it's a 10 out of 10 experience.
But I will say this: if I were to go back to this, it will be on my own accord.
I mean,
It will have to be.
Yes, that's what I expected.
You cannot pay me to go back to this game, and if anything happens that forces me to, I'm quitting. Whatever it is. You're all playing this game on your own against the Yoga Doctor, buddy. I'm not dealing with this crap.
Cool boy.
You get to watch, you don't get to play.
Watching is half the struggle.
I don't know. Mayo, you're making it out to be like it's the worst thing to ever exist. I don't know. That's a little too much, I think.
It is horrible. It doesn't have a single positive point to... Name one point in this video where I've actually said something good about it. Name one. Oh, wait.
You said that one level.
I said it was better than the others, but that doesn't mean it was good.
You said it was pretty good.
Like 2 out of 10, as opposed to 0.5 out of 10.
And
that's still garbage.
Hey, it's still a positive note of yours.
I like onion rings.
How is that positive?
But
I mean, I really like onion rings. Okay.
Okay. Good to know.
Well, did you guys want to know what the next game I chose for you guys was?
Not really. Not after this garbage.
That's like, jeez. Okay, Mayo's banned from talking about this game.
just brace for impact, Mayo. Here it comes.
Bubsy 3D. No, I'm joking.
It'd be an improvement.
That's messed up.
Don't encourage it.
Okay, well then, Bubsy 3D.
Don't encourage that game, okay?
But Mayo just said it's better than this one. I don't want to play Bubsy 3D.
Thank God.
You're punishing yourself more than you are me.
But the answer is it's Hollow Knight. We're gonna play Hollow Knight.
What? Hollow Knight?
Hollow Knight.
Okay, I guess my anticipation was way off.
Mine was too.
What did you guys think I was gonna say?
Metroid Prime 2.
Jesus.
I kind of was expecting that too. The only thing that didn't have that happen is the fact you brought up Xbox Game Pass at one point.
Yes, that, and I also told you, if you remember correctly, I said I'm gonna start using this the Romper Crew to go through my backlog of games, and that is one of my backlog of games. So.
What is it now?
Hollow Knight.
Okay, this is backlog.
Yeah, this is a backlog game of mine.
Okay, alright.
So,
have that.
I thought we were on a no purchase.
Em, I told you about the Game Pass thing. You said you were fine with it.
Wait, this is on the Xbox as well? Well,
yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Oh my God, that came off as a stupid question.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. So, that's the reason why I chose it. So, yeah, in the next video of the Romper Crew, we will be doing a Hollow Knight, and hopefully, you know, it's not as a negative Nancy as a video, and everybody can get along, and we all...
You picked this game knowing we would hate it! You deserve that to happen.
I picked this game knowing you would hate it. I picked this game forcing Em against his will to play it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
You're a terrible friend.
Yeah, just for that, 3 out of 10.
No, you can't do that. It's a 5 out of 10.
I said 4.
I'm saying 5 so then everything's balanced out.
It's my opinion.
Perfectly balanced as everything should be.
It is my opinion, you snail.
Even Mayo would want you to 5 out of 10 it.
No, I wouldn't. I'd pick 3.
No, he picks 5. Okay, see you guys in the next part where we play Hollow Knight. See you next month. Hopefully everybody is good. And we all have fun. I love you guys. Do you have any last words?
None.
I have no clue.
And with that, I'm gonna end the part. Goodbye. Can you say bye at least, guys?
Later.
Bye.